money to all people, he didn't give any of it to you. Based on the joke you just said right now. Wa alaikum salam wa rahmatullah wa barakatuh. So Aziz, you're going to be the ultimate recorder of this very sophisticated and formal debate. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. You don't need video recording. I'm sure you're aware to turn off the notification stuff. You're already aware of it, right? The joining noises and so.
Are you saying you're willing to voice record this, Aziz? Okay. Wait. Don't start it just yet. Don't start it just yet. Because we need permission for, everyone in the VC.
Do you need permission?
I mean, if you don't give permission, you're just gonna be server muted, so your voice is not gonna be there. Probably. That would be how to fix this.
I don't like this. They're conspiring, man.
Try not to Yap Challenge 2014, 2024.
What did you say, Money?
I think they're conspiring the VC.
Bro, don't worry, bro.
I'm scared, man. I'm gonna lose. Yeah.
Me as a neutral need to
I
go
think
there.
the
How
issue
about
too is
this?
this questions too, bro. I know what he's gonna focus on. He's gonna focus on more than October 7th.
Well, this guy's a Josh, 100%.
Hmm?
This guy, I don't know, bro. I don't like this guy.
Let's see how this guy is going to. Don't worry, don't. Bro, I'm sick, bro. Ugh. You muted me? Okay. Yeah, I don't know. I just became ill. I don't know. Inshallah, inshallah. شفا be upon you and your family, يا حبيبي.
Well, what prompted you to make this debate?
Previous discussions.
This guy's a Zionist. Very,
No, he's
very.
a Josh, but
He's a Jash.
yeah, bro.
Why money? I,
I don't know, man. This people are like, people want to copy me. It's fine.
they're they're not the same image input though. The colors are different.
I think this guy is more than just Jash. He's
I
he's on the
think he's
payroll.
Dayuth, bro.
Oh, bro.
More
Okay.
like honestly, Persians have like a thing with being Dayuth. I don't know why. Like too much muta.
Okay.
Yeah, we shouldn't generalize. We
No,
shouldn't
wait. Continue,
generalize.
continue, continue.
No, we shouldn't generalize, bro.
Continue.
God.
No,
Like,
no, yeah. Continue, huh?
bro, like you have too much. Well, what do you mean continue, bro? I'm being set up here. That's okay. I stand by my opinion. You have too much muta, bro, in a
Yeah,
society.
continue. 4K, right? As is that is this in 4K? Continue, bro. Yeah, we completely agree with you.
You have too
Continue.
much muta marriage in a society, right? You end up with
What's the problem with
Zionists.
Muta? What's the problem with that? Didn't Prophet
Bro,
allow it? What's the
would
problem
you
with
want your
something the
sister doing
Prophet
muta,
allowed?
bro?
Yeah.
Is we shouldn't get in this discussion. Yeah, we're having debates. We're already having a different debate.
When it comes to the matter of Muta, the father needs to be the one who is okay with it, plus the woman himself. So if the father is not okay with it, then Muta will
There's
not
no way, bro.
happen.
You're okay with muta, bro. Like,
Again, again.
like, bro, are you Persian, bro? Like what? Shia, bro?
Alhamdulillah. What's the argument?
We are relaxed.
No, no. The thing is, I love it. I love it when a person brings up, "Would you allow your daughter to do it?" I say, "It is my right to not allow it." Same with the people who allow them. It was their right to not to allow them. So
Okay,
yeah.
okay, Aziza, you still down to record it, yeah?
You're still
Alright.
recording. Like, hey, delete the record. Only give me that a specific part. That's all.
For
A
everyone in the
specific part.
VC, for everyone in the VC,
Yo,
we
are you
do
gonna make
need
sure
you
you
all.
include my Muta comments?
We do need you all to mute up, like every one of you, aside from Comrade and Navid, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
If anyone attempts to speak during the debate, you will be muted.
Already
Possibly,
mute the people who are already in the PC. How about that?
and moreover,
People.
no personal comments towards any
Yeah,
party
yeah.
in the chat or by or
Indeed.
by
I'm
mouth.
saying, like, what about muting everybody? Like, at to begin with. So,
Nah, it's cool. It's cool. I just
alright,
tell everyone to just be quiet.
alright.
Yeah, bro.
Are we starting?
Everyone cool to start now?
Wait.
Give it a few more minutes because we said it'll be at 0:00.
Oh, give me like 30 seconds too.
O'clock
Yeah,
gang.
man. But yeah, the point is, like, when you have like societies like Iran, like
Iran.
riddled with
Bro, do
Muta,
you
you have
run really?
individuals.
Wait. Do
Okay,
you
okay.
run really, bro? Brother said Iran.
Yeah, what's up with my mic?
But by the
He's
way,
trying to adjust audio.
Yeah, Diamat, hey Diamat, can you the second guy from the bottom, can you mute him please?
That's okay. I can mute myself. Hold on.
He'll mute himself. It's cool. Okay, can we do a quick check for both parties? Are you two able to post links in the side chat?
Post links. Let's take a look. Hold on a second.
Just go on Twitter as you do, Navid, and post from the countless Twitter posts you have.
Bro, I wasn't planning on sharing links to be honest.
I mean, Dalil will be asked for, so you're gonna need to.
Alright. Oh, I see.
Comrade, did you hear that?
Beautiful profile picture, Safa.
Alright. Let's
I'm
take
not
a
sure
look.
where Comrade is gone. Okay.
I don't understand why someone would voluntarily call himself Comrade. Freaking commie, man. Like, what the hell? Is this Islamic communist? Like the unholy alliance of red and blue?
No personal attacks. How about this?
That's not a
Yo, I'm
personal
back.
attack.
Yo.
Not a personal attack.
Comrade, can you post a link in the side chat just to see if you're able to do that? Like a quick check. You should be able to, but just to
What
confirm
link?
it. Any link.
Brother Navid, you love communism, don't you?
Ali BBC, mate.
Oh my! All right,
Marxist,
let's
Leninist.
Random.
let's try this image. Let's take a look.
Okay, Comrade is able to.
Oh
Okay, both parties
no!
are able to.
I got my deck of cards. Look at this deck of cards, guys. How many are left? Like 10?
Okay,
This is
Are we
very.
cool? Are we cool to start it now?
Well, who's beginning?
I didn't start
Comrade,
anything. I'm
Comrade,
not starting. How do I start?
Comrade, you are opening
How
it
am I
now.
beginning? I was literally just testing the link. No, he
Okay, this
says
guy on a
he's
different
beginning.
planet.
What
So
is he
Comrade,
saying right now?
Everybody
Comrade,
else mute.
You're gonna begin the opening, yeah, and then the Navid follows.
Can you just give the disclaimer, Ahmed, regarding what we spoke about?
Yeah. So everyone in the VC, I would like to request you all to mute yourselves and only let Navid and Comrade speak for the duration of the debate. This is a debate mainly between those two. If anyone attempts to speak during the debate, you will be muted. perhaps kicked. No personal comments to either party by either debater or anyone in the VC. Anyone that does this will be muted or kicked.
In terms of evidence, where did I put a side chat?
Does what?
In the side chat, please. Yeah.
Does what?
Korean leveler. This is a debate between Navid and
Bro, don't
Comrade.
even
Can you
debate
please?
anybody right now. Just mute him. Like, don't even have a discussion. Just mute it. If he's coming in here saying random stuff, just mute everybody.
Okay.
Like, this is not a conversation.
All right. Okay. Are we good to go?
Yes, we are good to go.
Oh.
Inshallah.
All right. Comrade, your time begins. Just quickly. When there's 1 minute left, I will unmute myself to let you know. You have
No
7
problem.
minutes.
Okay,
Time starts now.
Okay, so the question is Israel justified? Now, it's obviously a broad question. It was purposely made broad, not by me, of course. I wanted a more specific question, right? But no problem, right? Now, I decided to focus on the events of 1948, the Nakba. Number of reasons, right? One reason is that the Nakba, obviously, is an event in which Israel cannot escape from in terms of its very existence is contingent on the Nakba. And this is not just a past event, this was an event that carried on in terms of there was a cover up. And to this date, the Zionist regime persists in denying, first and foremost, deny any responsibility for the Nakba and then continue to cover up the Nakba and what happened in the Nakba. And I'll go into details in terms of what happened, right? Because obviously, when we talk about is justification, we're here talking about moral justification, right? And I hope Navid doesn't justify mass murder, ethnic cleansing, systematic rape, racism, Orientalism. I hope he doesn't justify these things. So I'm assuming he's against these things morally. If he's not, then I'm going to internally critique him on these things. Now, when it comes to the Nakba and the events surrounding it, now, what happened in the Nakba, this is just a brief TLDR, right? You had 750,000 to 800,000 Palestinians who were ethnically cleansed, right? From 1947 all the way to 1949, right? And the reason why this was so is because the Zionists, they saw an exclusive Jewish homeland in historic mandatory Palestine, right? And they sought to ethnically cleanse either all of them or as many as they could, to the point where the Palestinians were rendered an insignificant minority, to where once the state of Israel was established, these Palestinians wouldn't pose a political threat, right? Now, and it has nothing to do with, because a lot of pro-Zionists, they will claim, well, this was simply ad hoc. This was simply a response, a reaction to the fact the quote unquote Arabs attacked first, right? I will establish first and foremost, embedded in the very ideology of Zionism, which is an ethno-nationalist ideology, right? Um, Zionism, right, as an ideology, necessitates, from the very start, it necessitated and necessitates violence against minority groups, in this case, non-Jewish ethnic groups in the land, obviously mainly being the Palestinians, right, in order to homogenize the territory and then in turn to establish a Jewish ethno state in the land. So this was from the very, very start, going back all the way to thinkers like Herzl, Hess, Nordau, and then, people who came after them, Weizmann, Ben Gurion. There's other names, lesser known names like Bill Katz-Nelson, who was a very, very significant influence on the founding fathers of Zionism. Even the liberal Zionists like Shimon Peres was heavily, heavily influenced by Bill Katz-Nelson. And I'll get into why he's also fairly important. Now, in terms of the ethno-nationalist component, there's a few other components too, which I want to get into. The settler colonial aspect, right, which also ties into this, right? Because the settler colonial model, which Zionism is also that, right? Zionism is a national movement, but it's also a settler colonial movement. There's no dichotomy between the two, right? We can go into that. In terms of the settler colonial aspect, it also relates to the ethno-nationalist aspect, right? Because in this model, the Zionists didn't just seek to establish full political control over the territory of historic mandatory Palestine. They sought to do that, plus to bring in settlers in order to displace the inhabitants, who I believe are native to the land, right? Now, I'll go into, so I'll provide some evidence in regards to the point about ethno-nationalism and the fact Zionism as an ethno-nationalist ideology, as opposed to a civic nationalist one, necessitated either the ethnic cleansing or the mass killing of Palestinians, or basically, essentially, the removal of Palestinians via any means necessary, be it peaceful or violent. Obviously, eventually, the latter was chosen. So, I'll post. I'm not gonna like spam like gazillion sources because I mean they pretty much say similar things. But so this is from the Palestinian historian Norma Salha from his book. His book is very very it's a good book. Yes, he's pro-Palestinian. There's no issue with that. But everything he says is well sourced. He cites Israeli historians. He cites Palestinian historians. Any case, this is from page 22 of the book, the first excerpt. Quote, according to American Jewish historian and theoretician of nationalism, Hans Kohn, Zionist nationalism had nothing to do with Jewish traditions. It was in many ways opposed to them. Zionist nationalism adopted German Völkisch theory. People of common descent should seek separation and form one common state. But such ideas of racial nationalism ran counter to those held by liberal nationalism in Western Europe, whereby equal citizenship, regardless of religion or ethnicity, not common descent, determined the national character of the state. Secular Zionist nationalism was a classic case of the invention of a people in the late 19th century Europe and the synthesizing of a national project. This invented tradition considered the Jews as a race and a biological group and borrowed heavily from Romantic nationalism in Central and Eastern Europe. That's the first excerpt. Second excerpt is from page 20. I should have read the first one actually, but it doesn't really matter. What does it? So, quote, inspired by German Romantic nationalists such as Johann Gottfried Herder, the ideologue of the 18th century German cultural renaissance, members of the nationalist elites of Central and Eastern Europe sought to create and transmit the new national ideology to their children. Their aim was to create a literature in the national idiom, in order to create a common descent and national spirit indispensable for the nation state to come into being. Inspired by post-Herder German Völkisch nationalism of the 19th century, political Zionism was an anachronistic form of European Romantic nationalism and a project of myth-making. It adopted a German version of European Enlightenment thought. German nationalist principles such as biology, racial purity, historical roots and blood and soil, and a mystical attitude to the land all became key features of and guided secular Zionist nationalism and its invention of Jews as a nation with its own land, the land of the forefathers, Nahalot Avot. So I think this is sufficient for. I mean, I can provide more evidences, right? But the point.
You have
1 minute.
you have 30 seconds left.
Okay. Well, not enough time. This is the issue. About 7 minutes. What I'm saying is, okay, as I've already established here, the ethno-nationalist component of Zionism necessitated the displacement of others via these outlooks and projections. In terms of the Orientalism, we can see here. In terms of you could say the need to separate from others. In this case, obviously, the Palestinians. When it comes to Zionism in practice, well, their colonies, their moshavat, right, emulated this model, this theory in terms of.
The time is up. Come on.
Okay, no
You want to
problem.
finish off?
This is
Okay.
yeah. So I'm just going to finish off, right? So it emulated is in practice in terms of, let's say, for example, settlements like Tel Aviv. You had other settlements, Rehovot. There's a few other Zionist colonies, which escaped me off the top of my head, right? But they were exclusively Jewish. Arabs, non-Jews were not permitted to enter. The only time they could enter was for to be used as cheap labor. And this model was seen as you could say, a type of like mini Israel. It was to be exported to the rest of what they considered Eretz Israel once the state of Israel was established.
Okay, you done?
I'm done, but I'm not even finished off my points. But okay, no problem.
Bro, just
Okay. Could I could I request everyone on the VC to mute themselves? Mr. Anderson, if you can hear me.
I already took care of that.
He is still unmuted. Great dream hero. No, he's muted now.
Are you
Okay.
sure?
No, he's muted now. Okay, Navid.
Ya, tamam ben içime gelin. Ya deme derse de budur. Buranın içine gelin.
اللهم صل على محمد.
Yo,
Ali
Navid.
Muhammad.
Yeah,
You
what's
ready?
up? Hey, can you just mute everybody? Like, this is not a negotiation. Like, I don't know why it's a conversation. Please mute. Please just mute them. Like, why are we having a conversation about this?
It's cool. It's cool. I'm not gonna let people join it. We have mods here as well. Okay, are you?
All right, give me
are
1
you-
minute. All right, give me 1 minute. Give me
Okay.
1 second. Hold on. Okay. All right, Diana, tell me when to start.
Okay, your time starts now.
All right, thank you very much. Peace be upon you, everyone. Great to have you all here. Yeah, it's very simple. It's not very complicated. We don't need to go through all kinds of histories. Israel is run by a free democratic state. It allows freedom of religion. This is the most valuable freedom in the Quran. And it's a net positive for the world. Economic advancement, technological advancement, innovations, inventions. It provides the best life as far as these freedoms in the Middle East, right? So 2.4 million Arabs live inside Israel. And multiple polls have showed that they prefer to live inside Israel under Israeli rule than the alternative. The Muslims and the Arabs have demonstrated they're unable to facilitate a free state, right? Gaza was controlled, it's destroyed now for the most part, but it's controlled by terrorist death cult that is a single party totalitarian state, killing other Gazans, killing other Arabs, killing all opposition, stifling religious freedom, stifling political opposition is useless. So the only way forward in this situation is the state of Israel. There's no other way. Right? That's just what it is. In terms of the origins of Israel, this was Ottoman land, Ottoman territory, which was defeated in World War I, 1917, by the Allied powers. British became in control of that land. British helped, I guess, 15 to 20 Arab states to be created. And they were all created. These are all fabricated states, right? Saudi Arabia, Iraq, Lebanon, Syria, these are all fake countries. Just arbitrary borders that were created. 1917, the Balfour Declaration also expressed support for a Jewish state, which makes sense. If Arabs can have 20, 30 countries, surely Jews can have one, or 60, or so, whatever, 60 Islamic countries in general. There's many Christian countries, so the world can have one Jewish country, and that seemed fair. There's multiple commissions to examine what the best parameters for a Jewish state would be. They were all rejected by the Arabs. But ultimately, the United Nations agreed to the partition plan of 1947. The Jews happily accepted this. After the majority of states at the United Nations declared their support and established a two-state solution, Israel was created. Then 6 Arab countries declared war on Israel, and they lost. They all lost, and Israel, as a result, they lost the right to any land, actually. And what ended up happening is the lands that were decreed for the Palestinians were taken by Arab states. So Egypt took Gaza, and Transjordan took the West Bank, Syria, Iraq. They took the Golan Heights, etc. Then another war happened in 1967, the Six-Day War. When they were going to attack Israel, Israel won that war and took all these lands back. The only state on earth to give Palestinians any land is the state of Israel. There was no requirement for Israel to give Gaza to Arabs, to the Palestinians. Same goes for West Bank. Israel ethnically cleansed all Jews out of Gaza in 2005, forcibly removed all of them, handed it over to the Palestinians. They turned around, elected Hamas, terrorist death cult that oppressed their people, killed the other Palestinians, and then launched brutal attacks on Israel endlessly. That culminated in October 7th, was tolerated for 17 years. Then Israel said, yeah, we're not doing this anymore. Now Hamas is crushed and it's over. Now it sounds like there's going to be a new political solution of a different political control in Gaza. But the bottom line is Israel, to answer the question, Israel is justified. Israel is a net positive for the world. Everyone is better off with Israel in power over there. I guess except Hamas. So just a quick shout out. We are submitters. We worship God alone. We follow the Quran alone. And the only state in the Middle East that we can exist in publicly is the state of Israel. This goes for pretty much any religion that's want to proselytize other than the Muslims. So this equation is very simple. You take a modern, advanced, sophisticated, free, democratic state versus tyrannical, backwards, barbaric savages. I don't choose the savages. You can try to rewrite history and do all this mental gymnastics
Shut
all
the
you
fuck
can.
up,
But at the bottom line,
woman beater.
listen.
Please stop.
Done. Right? This is a very simple equation. We choose the side of freedom. We choose the side of
Yo,
prosperity.
did you neglect your
We
son
choose,
to do this debate? Did you neglect your son to do this debate, bro?
we choose a side. Yeah. So this is what I meant, the Ahmed. Just kick the guy. No, I said
Navid,
kick the guy even before.
I pause the time. I pause the time. Majid, you will be, so he's muted. Okay, I think we can continue.
There was multiple people. Just remove the guy from the whole thing.
Stop being a coward.
Yeah. So like,
Okay, Great
that's
Dream
the
Hero.
minute that's been crushed right now.
Can we have a
I'm
band
looking.
from the
I'm
VC?
looking. I'm looking through all the folks. I think that
Like
person
Nuha,
took out.
yeah, like Nuha. This is we talked about this before. I said just remove the guy straight up.
It's cool. It's cool. We'll deal with it.
Yeah, but yeah. So this is the demeanor of the people.
Hold on. I
Yeah.
haven't continued the time yet. Let me
No, no,
just
no,
ban.
no, 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 no. I'm not having a discussion yet. I'm not saying my intro. I'm just saying these people. These are the Hamas people. Like, get rid of this guy. Kick him out.
You're the woman beater. You're the. Shut up.
It's that four dots guy at the bottom. Like, just remove these people. Get them out.
Okay, she has been banned.
Who's been banned?
The four dots go. She is gone. Hopefully, she won't be
Get
coming back.
Majid up. Get Majid out too.
Majid is muted. He won't be doing that.
Kick him out. He's in the chat.
Okay. Give me a second. Majid is also banned.
Thank you. I think I should be awarded an extra 30 seconds in addition to the time I lost because of that rude interruption.
No time was lost. I paused it straight away. You're at 5 minutes 43 seconds. You have a minute and 15 seconds left. Your time starts now.
Thank you. So yeah, I mean, look, bottom line is in all of history, all the countries of the world were founded on various means, mostly war and conquest. Right? The state of Israel was founded because the British didn't want to be there, and we had already established as a world community Jews deserve a state. Arabs in Israel have more rights than any Arab state. There's freedom of expression, freedom of religion. Israel does not have the death penalty, right? So it's really a simple equation, guys. These guys are savages on the other side. Hamas, Hezbollah. The alternative is trash. So you have net negative versus net positive. And so the justification
30,
is a
30
net
seconds
positive.
left, David. 30 seconds
Thank
left.
you very much. This is, yeah, it's fantastic. So we need to support religious freedom. We need to support economic freedom. We need to support the destruction of the terrorists, savages, and guys that infringe on people's rights. There's a very simple equation. Aggression is only permitted against the aggressor, and all these guys that are aggressors have learned their lesson of being destroyed. There's no countries attacking Israel
Your
anymore.
time
It's
is
just these
over.
savage
So
groups. Thank you
nice
so
talking.
much. I appreciate that. Thank you. Thank you.
Okay, we will now be getting into the rebuttals. 4 minutes each. Comrade, if you are ready, are you there?
Yes, 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 I am there.
So your rebuttal starts now.
Okay, I mean, there's a lot to unpack. I didn't really see much evidence being posted at all. Now, first and foremost, right, this is about, this claim about Hamas terrorists. Now, I'm not here to defend Hamas, right? So when it comes to terrorist acts on both sides, I condemn them equally, right? Although I think the Israeli side do have much, much more responsibility in this conflict, given the, the historic dynamic of the conflict in terms of them being the colonizers, them being the oppressors, them having a state, blah, 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 right? Now, but since, Navid, he is against terrorism, right? And he despises terrorism and he thinks, Israel is a state, I guess, not just, doesn't engage in terrorism, it's apparently anti-terrorism, right? Very strongly against terrorism, right? Now, let's go to an event again, 1948, right? There were many, many terrorist attacks and terrorist acts committed by not just extremists, because he's going to point to extremists like, you might try to say, well, the Argun and Lehi, they were just a minority group. No, 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 no. From the Haganah themselves, and then once the State of Israel formed from the IDF, you had dozens and dozens of terrorist attacks targeting civilians, right, via the Haganah and the IDF. Now, um, I'll give you one example. So this is in the context of the Galilee areas, right? This is due to the expulsions. I posted in chat. Now, this is a director of the Jewish National Fund in the aftermath of expulsions that the Zionists did in the Galilee area, in northeast, quote unquote Israel, right? And he likens basically what they did to what the Nazis did. But I will just read it out for you, right? Quote, and this is from the same book, Normal Salah. Quote, the evidence surrounding the Galilee expulsion shows clearly the existence of a pattern of actions characterized by a large number of massacres, deemed to intimidate the population to flight. On 29th to the 31st of October 1948, the Israeli army, in a large military campaign named Operation Hiram, conquered the last significant Arab-held pocket of the Galilee. According to new Israeli archival material, commanding officers issued expulsion directives. There was a central directive by the Northern Front Command to clear the conquered pocket of its Arab inhabitants. The operation was characterized by murder and a range of brutalities carried out against the Palestinian civilian population. On 6th of November 1948, Yosef Nahmani, the director of the Jewish National Fund office in the Eastern Galilee between 1935 and 1965, and one of the most prolific Zionist diarists, toured the newly conquered areas. He was accompanied by Emmanuel Fried of Israel's Israel's Monetary Affairs Ministry, who briefed him on the cruel acts of our soldiers, which Nahmani recorded in his diary. And this is Nahmani stating, in Saf, after the inhabitants had raised the white flag, the soldiers collected and separated the men and women, tied the hands of 56 Falahin peasants, and shot and killed them, and buried them in a pit. Also, they raped several women at Elibun and Faradiyah. The soldiers had been greeted with white flags and rich food.
Yeah,
Afterwards,
30 seconds left, Comrade.
had ordered the villagers to leave with their women and children. When the villagers had begun to argue, the soldiers had opened fire and after some 30 people were killed, had begun to lead the rest towards Lebanon. Um, blah blah blah. Same thing. In Salah has similar atrocities occurred. And then Nahmani basically says, where did they come by such a measure of cruelty? Like Nazis, is there no more humane way of expelling the inhabitants than such methods? End quote. So this is again this is Zionism for you, and this is the
Your
Zionist
time
project,
is up.
which is
So
predicated
just
on
finish
this.
off your sentence.
Yeah,
Okay.
I finished. It's no problem.
Okay.
The
Okay.
timing is not good in this, but
Timing's fantastic. If
it's
you have the
fantastic
right
for
point,
you
you should
because you can
just.
get away with just making points and not substantiating your claims.
I
Okay, it's
mean, you
fine.
Anyway,
should just
continue.
There's going to
summarize your
be
points quickly.
there's going to be a free flow after all this anyway. So Navid, are you ready?
Hold on. Give me 1 second. All right. Give me 1 second. Okay.
Okay.
I'm putting it in the chat. All right, I'm ready. Let's go.
You have a 4-minute rebuttal. Your time starts
Yeah.
now.
All right. So I just put a list of Arab-Palestinian attacks on Jews since 1517. So contrary to common perception, there's not been peaceful land before the establishment of State of Israel. There's been at least 50 massacres of Jews by the Arabs there before the establishment of State of Israel. Each of these massacres is named. You can look in all of them. So this demonstrates the need urgently at the time for the establishment of Jewish state, even today. It's just this is the only place in the Middle East that Jews, Arabs, Christians, Muslims, and others can all freely coexist is the state of Israel in the Middle East. That's it. So if someone asks for sources, just Google any of these names of these massacres. Go ahead, they're all available. Right. So that's the bottom line. There was no future, even under Ottomans, even under British rule. The only rule that established and sustained peaceful interactions was the state of Israel. Regarding the Nakba, hey man, you attack the state of Israel, Israel's going to fight back. Arab countries demanded the Arabs living there to leave. Guess what? A whole lot of them refused to leave. They stayed in Israel, and now they're Israeli citizens enjoying full rights as Israeli people. That's it. That's how this works, right? You mess around, you find out. And that's what happened on October 7th. All the people that are celebrating, now they're crying. It's over, right? We just got news that the second senior member of Hamas was destroyed. He was crushed today. This is great news. There's nothing else happening here. It's finished. So Israel's winning. It's won all the wars. I believe there's 15 wars against Israel. Divine intervention has ensured that Israel won every single war. Every single war was won by Israel. It's finished, right? So we have a free democratic state in the state of Israel, and we have a bunch of savages on the other side. And they're never going to do anything. They can't do anything. They're done. They can't rule themselves. They can't rule anyone. I will take it a step further. No Arab state or even Muslim state is free for that matter. So I don't want any of these expanding anymore. They have enough. We've ran the simulations. It's crap every time. We don't need more crap, right? As far as I'm concerned, Israel is the United States of the Middle East, and that's what we need. We need a place for people to peacefully coexist. 2.4 million Arabs that have full rights, over 800 mosques, freedom of religion. We had talked to an Arab guy on our server last week in Israel. He says, look, yeah, maybe there's some ethnic discrimination or whatever, but I can freely travel to Tel Aviv. I have good job opportunities, and things are overall on the up and up. And that's the general consensus of Arabs living inside of Israel. That's what we need, right? But what are Hamas and Palestinian Authority areas like? Poverty, oppression, suppression, torture, humiliation, war, suffering? No, no. This has to do with Islamic religion based on hadith. It leads to destruction of the people. In fact, for the first few centuries, when the Quran came down, the Muslims were doing fantastic. But as soon as they
30
fully
seconds left.
implemented hadith, the Muslims were crushed and started losing all the battles. Because hadith is the word of Satan and the Quran is the word of God. Anyone who upholds the values of the Quran will be successful. This makes the United States the most Quranic state on earth, because in the Quran, freedom of religion is the utmost important issue. And the United States presents that. In fact, the United States is a
Your
country
time is up,
founded,
Navid. So just finish
founded
off
on
in a sec.
religious freedom. That's it. The United States is a country founded on freedom, and that's why it's the most blessed country on earth. God bless America.
Okay. Comrade, are you there?
Yep.
You will now have a 5-minute cross exam.
Okay.
Okay.
I mean, I don't know what just the hell I had, to be honest. I mean, it was a load of yap there. But look, so I mean, I already addressed the point, and I used the ideology of the Zionists in terms of their espousal of ethno-nationalism. to say, well, no, the intent to ethnically cleanse occurred from the very, very start. Now, it may have not been expressed explicitly at the very start, and there's reasons why that wasn't the case, right? But I can show even excerpts from, Herzl in the late 19th century, alluding to ethnically cleansing the Palestinians, right, the inhabitants there. So to say, well, you attack first, we get to basically ethnically cleanse you, and I think this was ethnically cleansing with the intent to destroy the nation, which I classify as genocide. But regardless, even if you don't, you're basically saying, hey, you quote unquote attacked first, right? And you seem to be generalizing all Palestinians apparently, stood up and decided to uh, massacre Jews, apparently, right? Um, we get to now ethically cleanse you, right? How does that make sense at any level, right? But in any case, right, it just doesn't make sense in terms of historically and factually, as I've told you, in terms of ideologically. But I can show an excerpt from Herzl. Um, very quick excerpt. This is from Ilan Pape's book. Yes, he references it. I can give you the end note. Anyway, it says, despite Herzl's enthusiasm for the idea of mass Jewish immigration to Palestine and the creation of a republic there, while, as he put it, spiriting the penniless Arabs out of the country, he was willing to consider other destinations as havens for Europe of Jews, right? Blah blah blah, right? Anyway, the point here is, right, Herzl espoused the idea of ethnic cleansing and alluded to it in the late 19th century. Now, you have other Zionists, Chaim Weizmann. I posted Chaim Weizmann too, right? This is in 1919, right? Chaim Weizmann was one of the senior labor Zionist leaders, right? He was close to people like Ben Gurion and the likes. Two things here, right? His racist attitudes towards Arabs are being expressed, but also his intent to quote unquote turn Palestine. Basically, what he's saying, I'll just quote the whole thing, right? Blah blah blah. Chaim Weizmann, president of the Zionist organization, later first president of Israel, viewed the Palestinian Arabs as a backwards race, declaring in an address to the English Zionist Federation on September 1919, by a Jewish national home, I mean the creation of such conditions that as the country is developed, we can pour in a considerable number of immigrants and finally establish such a society in Palestine that Palestine shall be as Jewish as England is English or America American. Now, obviously, the question here is how is that achieved via peaceful means, right? That it can only be achieved by peaceful means, assuming the native inhabitants, right, the people who already lived there, would willingly, just give up their homes and leave. And obviously, that wasn't the case. And people like Weizmann and all the other senior Zionist leaders understood that, right? And this goes on to what Navid was saying. Yes, in terms of now, I can't verify. I mean, you didn't really cite a credible source. You just cited like I don't know, like just a table which is just it links to no source, right? But look, I accept Palestinians, well, on the Palestinian side rather, right? Massacres did occur, and the Hebron massacre was one of them, right? But the context, and again, I'm not morally justifying. I'm just giving political context and historical context, right? The context was right. Zionism. This was in reaction to Zionism, and people like Weizmann and then a few others like Arlosorov, right? They understood this was a reaction to Zionism and basically due to a rejection of Zionism, right? And so these people they didn't renounce Zionism. Now they didn't go, okay, well the natives, the locals, the Palestinians, they don't want a Jewish state here, right? We're just going to abandon Zionism. No, no, no. They persisted in their maximalist Zionism, right? Basically their pure ethno-nationalist ideology, and they instead decided to take the Iron War approach. I'm not saying one for one, but the Iron War approach, which was espoused by um, Jabotinsky a decade earlier, right, in 1923. I'm talking, this was basically solidified by the 1930s, right? So the issue became very, very militarized, right? So this is just nonsense. In terms of um, divine intervention, but I don't know what the hell you're referring to here, divine intervention.
You have 30 seconds left, comrade.
Okay, yeah, in terms of the divine intervention point, I mean, like if you're talking about 1948 as divine intervention, well, you're ignoring the part where, first and foremost, right, there's pretty much near consensus by historians, right, on both sides, right? When this wasn't like some David versus Goliath thing, right? The Zionists had the upper hand, both in the first phase, in the quote unquote civil war phase, in the 1947 phase, right? They have the upper hand in terms of more manpower, better equipment. And then in the 1948 phase, yes,
Your time is up, so if you'd like to
in,
finish off.
initially in terms of equipment, They were outgunned by the Arab armies that came. But by the end of the war, they both outmanned and outgunned them. And then the other thing that's being missed out here is the secret deal between Ben Gurion and the King of Jordan, Abdullah, right? To where basically they agreed to carve up historic mandatory Palestine, where the Jordanians would get the West Bank. In return, they would basically prevent the Arab legions from advancing any further into Palestine to basically defeat the Zionists. So it wasn't divine intervention. There's a bunch of other points you mentioned, but yeah.
Okay. Navid, are you there?
All right, Ahmed, before I start, you got to remove these guys, brother. I asked you guys before we started, I said none of this personal attacks up. You guys are not moderating properly. I don't appreciate this.
Which individual would you like removed?
Yeah, Khalid should be removed. Like
Ibn
straight
Khalid.
up. No, just regular Khalid. Check the chat.
I cannot
Like
see
Khalid should just
his
be
username.
removed right now. Khalid Muslim on here. Like this should not even happen, right?
I cannot see who you are referring to. What is his Discord username?
Khalid. Oh, Lion. He's changing his username to evade
Okay,
identification. It's just Lion.
Yeah, just continue, man. We don't have to. You don't have to look at the chat.
No.
let me ban him real quick.
Yeah, and thank you very much. And that shouldn't take this long. Like anyone that says anything, like should immediately be removed. Like this is there should be
I
no
think it's
nonsense.
changed his I think it's changed. Oh no, I see it.
I know he's a slippery little bastard. Yeah. There you go. He's gone. Thank you.
Okay, a quick
Delete
reminder
his
to everyone
comments.
in the VC: no personal attacks or comments towards any debater, whether in the VC or in the chats. If this does happen, you will be banned immediately. Okay,
You can
so you're
attack
private.
ideas, not people.
Yeah, you can
Can indeed.
attack ideas, just not people.
All right,
All right,
Navid,
so
are
that
you?
was supposed to be a cross examination. I didn't hear a question from him.
Well, he can use his time how he
Oh,
wants. Okay. You now have
all
a
right.
5 minute cross examination. It starts now.
Yeah, no problem. So again, the way he talks in this debate is similar to how Hamas and Palestinian supporters talk. They just whine and complain. They have no solutions. There's no solutions in anything he said. So, well, this bad thing happened this time. This other bad thing happened this time. It's like, okay, so that means you want terrorist rule on that territory, right? He said, I put a table with no citations. My guy, they're all citations. All the names of the massacres, you can Google every single one. What do you want me to do? I put 100 and something massacres on there. You want me to put 100 articles? Like you just type in the name of each of those in Google, right? It's finished. So these are all massacres documented. The only place for Jewish homeland is the state of Israel. I think it's just done. Like, what else is there to talk about? Like, this thing is over, right? He provided no alternative. I have the alternative. I'm saying that Israel provides the freedom for the people living in its state. He never refuted that. I said 2.4 Arabs live inside Israel peacefully. Never refuted that. I said the majority of countries at the United Nations established the state of Israel. Never refuted that. Lawfully and legally, that was British land, British territory, political control. They handed over to the United Nations for the partition resolution. He never refuted that. Right? Yes. Were there Jewish terrorist groups before the state of Israel? Yes. But after Israel was established, they all surrendered their weapons and disbanded. Finished. And it makes sense there's going to be a variety of Jewish groups fighting back against the barbaric savages that were slaughtering their people for hundreds of years. So, yes, there's going to be some extremists on the Jewish side, which all disbanded and were abolished after the creation of the state of Israel. That makes sense. That's what we expect to happen. Right? The fact of the matter is that hijabi woman is currently in the Knesset. That's the Israeli parliament. Muslims are allowed to participate in the elections. They're allowed to run as candidates. A Muslim judge in Israel sentenced the prior Israeli president. All right. So these are just facts. The cold hard facts are just too strong. Right. The overwhelming evidence is that Muslims in Israel are having a better time than would in any other Arab country. In fact, I would go further. I would say that a Muslim Arab woman in Israel has more rights than she would in any other country in the Middle East. I want them to have rights. I want them to have freedom. Right? That's why I support the state of Israel, because it's a net positive for the world. More countries implementing policies like Israel means more support, more success in the world. More places implementing Hamas, Hezbollah, and other corrupted Muslim or Arab structures and systems means more death, destruction, oppression, and lack of development. I don't want that. What do we want at the end of the day? I want prosperity and success. I want everyone to live in peace, freedom, and security. That includes Arabs, that includes Jews, that includes Christians, everyone. I want everyone to have freedom of religion and freedom to grow and develop. That's not possible for the Jews under any state, let alone everyone else. No, there's not possible for anyone, let alone the Jews, right? Under Arab and Muslim rule, right? So again, I'm just not sure what else there is to talk. I guess I can ask him what's his solution. We haven't heard it. We just hear whining and complaining, but we don't hear any solution from the other side. So now Hamas has been crushed. We have a good solution planned to have an independent, semi-Arab control, political control of that area in Gaza. I think that's a good solution. I don't think any Gazans should be removed from their land and their homes should be rebuilt. And thank God Elon Musk said he's going to help with that project. So this is fantastic. We're going to triple B, build back better, build Gaza better, have the people have their homes rebuilt, live in security and peace, and Hamas free.
You have 30 seconds
No more
left.
terrorists. They don't have to live under terrorist rule. Crush the terrorists, get them out of there. Let these people live in peace. They've been abused. I don't know if you guys seen this. There's plenty of protests and outbursts against Hamas, and they're brutalized. These people deserve dignity. 20 years of Hamas rule is enough. They need to live in peace and dignity. So they're gonna have that, God willing. It's gonna be a great time.
Your time is up, Navid.
Thank you very much.
Okay. Comrade, are you here? I just seen him mute up, so I
Get
think it's
rid of
deployed.
Lion. He's still here. Get rid of Lion. Ban him.
That's a different line, I think. Comrade, are you here?
Oh crap! No, that goes on me. Yeah, sorry, I'm here.
Okay. You have another 5-minute cross-examination. It starts now.
Yeah, I mean, okay. So in terms of my solution, well, I've stated my solution before to you, right? I support a binational state, Palestinian state, which would accord equal rights to all the people, irrespective of the ethnic group in that region. So a state which operates on a civic nationalist logic, as opposed to an ethno-nationalist logic, which you seem to defend, while simultaneously claiming that there's equal rights for all peoples in Israel, irrespective of, I guess, the ethnic group, which is completely nonsensical. It doesn't make sense, and is contrary to the Zionist project in terms of its goals, in terms of what it represents, and in terms of its actions, right? In terms of, you then try to basically say these terrorist attacks basically stopped after the state of Israel. So it's good. You're acknowledging the terrorist attacks, but you didn't condemn them. You talk about women's rights in Israel. Well, it doesn't seem like the Israelis or the Zionists pre-state Israel applied these rights to Palestinian women who they've raped. And that, the example I provided is just one example. It was systematic. It happened in dozens and dozens of Palestinian towns and villages that were eventually bulldozed. You don't seem to condemn that, right? Also, your claim that it stopped after the state of Israel was established. I mean, that's a funny thing because, well, first and foremost, right? Um, Here, I'll give you Ben Gurion, the prime minister, who was also a Zionist leader pre-state Israel and then first prime minister of Israel. He actually covered up the crimes. And I posted a source, right? He went out his way to purpose, first and foremost, not talk about what the Zionists did, right? Both in 1947 and 1948 and 1949. And then he went out his way to cover up the crimes. Not a single Zionist, forget senior commander, we're talking about not a single mid-level commander, low-level commander, not even a single soldier was prosecuted by the Zionists for the crimes they committed. Neither for murder, neither for forcefully expelling Palestinians from their homes, neither for rape, neither for theft. So how do you account for these things? And then when it comes to like, and of course, and also you claim, this was just terrorists. As I told you, and it doesn't seem you're listening to what I'm saying. This wasn't just like you said minority. Like this was just, I guess you're implying this was just the Ergun al-Lehi. Well, it was the Haganah. It was the mainstream Zionist militia, and then also when 1948
Comrade,
in terms of
I would like to pause you really quickly. It looks like Navid has
We have
been
to get Navid back in.
Navid has been timed out from the
okay, no
VC.
problem.
I'm not sure who it was that did it.
Okay.
Why he was banned?
I'll
Hey,
be
Athena, someone is mod abusing in the VC right now and timing out one of the debaters. Not sure if you're here.
Does it show that someone banned him, or did he maybe just disconnect?
I'm here, but I don't see anybody that would have done that in this chat.
Yeah. He may have
Well,
just
he was
disconnected.
timed out.
Can you check audit log to see if he's
I can find out.
He now says he does not have permission to
What
join
makes
the
you
voice.
what makes you think he was banned?
He wasn't banned from the server. I just checked the
He's not.
logs.
Or you just
He is not in the room logs, at least the ban room
What?
logs.
Yeah, he wasn't banned.
Yeah,
Not from the
probably
server.
not.
This is very typical of a Zionist coward. Let me just say this.
Basically, he's been timed
Yeah,
out from
don't
this
use
room, and he doesn't have permission to join his VC.
Yeah.
Oh, maybe
Hello.
okay. He
Is it
left and he
allowed?
cannot join
Is it
back
allowed to
because
be
it's a
racist
full.
on the server?
Because
He called
because
the
if I'm not
Arabs
Yeah, you need to
mistaken,
have somebody leave.
Yeah, have him join another room, and I'll pull him in here.
yeah, he disconnected, but he cannot connect back. Basically, that's what
So
happened.
he can
just
join
want
another
That's
room
because
and
the room is full.
Yeah,
just want to ask the mods, like,
I, we can
is it
we can
okay
drag
to
him
be
in here
racist
if he's in
on the
another room.
server?
okay, I will let him know. He can join another room, and you guys can drag him in. He
Hello,
says
Athena.
he can't join any VCs.
Well, that's weird.
This is a miracle from God. La ilaha illallah.
Dude, Majid,
La
stop.
ilaha
No need to be
Yo,
nasty.
Sajjad, stop.
Hello, Comrade, can you hear me?
yo.
Yeah, I was
Did
just
Navid
wondering,
get raped on the Zionism topic?
Alright, guys,
Even though
let's read the
Zionism
poll
is
in the chat.
literally against Islam.
Guys, he's saying his
Oh, I
timeout
know
is
what happened.
ending in
I
2
know what
minutes.
happened, guys. So he posted a link to a Discord channel. He got
He
automatically
posted
timed
a
out.
link. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's
There's
Oh,
So
no
he's
he
trying
is
to
timed
conspiracy.
out.
advertise submission. He's trying to advertise
You
that
can't
cult
post
server in
links
his.
to other places.
That's what he did.
Wait. Dama, you have to mute Majid. He's
Okay,
making personal attacks. It's not a marriage.
okay.
So let him know, Daphne, what happened. He posted a link and got auto timed out.
and wait, there's something. How could you allow him to insult the Arabs? All of the Arabs, what the hell? That's racist.
That sounds racist. I don't think
Hey,
Quran
he
allows
literally
that.
called them savages.
It's a debate.
Disgusting.
It's a debate. Just stop. It's a debate.
So it's okay to call black people
It's a debate.
subhumans in a
I don't know
debate.
if I call this a debate, honestly.
It's not a debate, yeah. He just insulted the Arabs. That's it.
His entire argument is just Arabs
Oh
are
my
dirty.
God, get over it.
Yeah, we'll get
Why
in
did
the free flow
someone say
discussion. We'll
that
get
he's
deal with
dirty,
these
by the way?
things.
What happened?
We'll deal with these things.
And I think, they're talking about a specific time period, a specific thing that happened. All right?
No,
Don't
okay,
extrapolate.
fine. Maybe we would have to
Navid acts like
clarify.
the perfect
But he does
example of his
believe
branch of Islam and is a literal racist.
he does believe that Arabs are still cursed and they're disgusting savages. That's what he believes.
Alright, can we stop? Just let him come back and continue the debate.
He's a pathetic kafir. What do you want?
Alright, Ahmed, can you
Oh,
get
so
rid of
it's
this
okay for
Al-Imam
you to attack him
al-Muqta?
Who is
personally, right?
who
Is
is it
the
speaking?
Who set
Al-Imam,
this thing up?
the cat guy.
Who in here? Who was the
Okay,
person
he's
that
gone.
set this thing up?
Atlanta, your background noise is really, really loud.
Okay, Navid should be joining back
Yeah,
in a
I'm here.
second now.
I'm here.
Okay.
I'm here. I'm here.
Muzzle
I would
All
tov.
right,
like to
let's
I would
remove
like to
some
request
people.
everyone I would like to request everyone in the VC aside from the debaters to please go on mute and not say a word. Navid, you can't post server links in the chats, bro, because that will time you out. Okay, comrade, are you there?
How much did he hear? This is the issue. Like, what would I repeat? Because
Wait, you need to remove some people. Get rid of the Muta marriage guy. Get rid of Zizo. Get
He's
these
gone.
guys out
He's
of
gone.
here.
Okay,
Get rid of
because they are
Zizo.
savages.
comrade,
Get,
you have
get
two and
rid
a
of
half.
Lumumba.
Wait, why get rid of
Shut the
Zizo?
fuck
What did
up.
he
Shut
do?
the fuck up, Naveed.
No, get
Fuck
rid
your
of these
mom.
guys.
Fuck your mom. Like, shut the fuck up, Zionist disbeliever, kafir. Like, I'll chop your head and never
Here,
even
kick him
hesitate.
out. Kick him out. Kick him out. Get
He's
rid of
yo,
gone.
this
He's
chill,
guy.
gone.
chill, man.
He's
I'm
gone.
just yeah.
I didn't know. I didn't
Get
know it
rid
was
of
gonna be
this
this
guy.
messy. You got a lot of haters,
I
Navid.
told you. I warned you. I warned you. I told you. I
No,
said you
I
need.
think the issue is
I
like
said
only 2 people have mod powers, which is like a bad idea.
no.
Maybe
Or the
Okay,
three
speed
Doesn't.
of
people.
muting, like
it's
you can mute
it's,
so
it's
fast, bro.
okay.
Yeah, you can
It's
move
cool.
so fast. You can
It's
mute
cool.
and ban
It's
so fast. Get rid of Zizo. Get rid of
What
Zizo.
I didn't see Zizo doing anything at least,
did
my
Zizo
personal
make
He
any
doesn't
perspective.
any
need to
any
do
comment?
anything. He doesn't
What?
need to.
If he hasn't done anything, then nothing will
He's
happen.
banned on our server on 172 accounts.
Okay, okay.
Okay, we're gonna begin now.
Comrade, you have 2.5 minutes left.
Oh,
It
Wait,
starts
when
how
did he
does he
cut
have
Why
out?
don't
two
we
and a
just
half minutes?
why don't we just mute everybody but the 2 people that are supposedly debating?
And also remove the comments in the chat. Any personal attacks. You made this rule clear. It
I'm
needs
not
to be
going to go
enforced.
through all these people and remove all these comments. This is
No, just ban
ridiculous.
them.
There's like
Just
what
ban them. And move
Sorry,
it
Just
on.
ignore
sorry,
the
Naveed. This
comments. You
isn't a
don't need to look at
Wendy's.
the
I'm not
comments.
banning everybody.
This isn't a Wendy's, Naveed. You don't get it your way.
Bro, like
okay.
wasting time.
It's cool. A reminder: if there are any personal comments towards either debaters, you will be met with a ban. Okay, I think we should continue. Comrade, you have
Like
two and
this.
a half. You have 2.5 minutes left.
I've been
It starts
silenced for
now.
5 minutes plus 5 minutes that he spoke. That's 10 minutes of me not speaking.
Oh wait, was it you, Naveed, that was talking?
Yeah, he was talking.
Oh,
What are you
okay.
talking about? He was
Okay,
talking
comrade.
I
for
was talking.
4 minutes. He was talking for 4 minutes. Then I got timed out for 5 minutes. That's 9 minutes that I haven't spoken.
Comrade, I paused the timer for Comrade. He didn't speak when you were gone.
Okay, so that's 4 minutes that he spoke. So you want to give him another minute?
He spoke for 2.5 minutes, so
Okay.
he has 2.5 minutes left. Okay, the time starts now.
Okay, so the point about you're talking about how these terrorist I think I mentioned, I don't know if you were there, that's the issue, but you're saying how these terrorist attacks stopped after the state of Israel was established. So first okay, actually before I get to that, right, let's just go to your claim about how it was only like these extremists who did the terrorist attack. I think I already addressed that, but I'll repeat it again, but this time I'll just provide the source. This is quoting, this is the second endnote. This is quoting Benny Morris, right? This is quoting a Haganah intelligence report. One Haganah intelligence service agent reported in 1947, right? The fellah, the peasant, is afraid of the Jewish terrorists. His strength is insufficient to fight the Jewish force. The majority are confused, frightened. All they want is peace and quiet. If you look at footnote endnote 4, right? I didn't highlight that, but this is also espousing terrorism too. In late 1948, an official cable was issued to all Israeli division and district commanders in the north. Do all you can to immediately and quickly purge the conquered territory of all hostile elements in accordance with orders issued. The residents should be helped to leave the areas and have been conquered, right? So this is, and there's numerous other pieces of evidences, and I can list numerous massacres. Obviously Deir Yassin, yes, it was committed by the Ergun and Lehi, but the Haganah aided them in, both in terms of providing munitions, logistical support, and in terms of artillery cover fire, right? You have numerous other massacres which the Haganah committed and the IDF committed, which have been well documented. I can name like does literally dozens and dozens. I can name them, right? So these are acts of terrorism. They were targeting civilians, right? And these civilians were unarmed. They were not fighting. They were not resisting. They were combatants, right? They pose no threat. And they won't just target in terms of killings, but as I showed you, I gave you an example, right? In the context of Safsaf, in the Galilee area, women were
You have
raped,
30 seconds left.
kids were raped. In terms of what was the point too? You said, oh, in terms of also the other, but relating to this too, these terrorist attacks, right, against Palestinian civilians continued after the establishment of the State of Israel. A famous example is Sabra and Shatila, right, in 1982, which was under Shimon Peres's guidance, who was a defense minister at the time, right. Now, it wasn't done directly by the IDF, but the IDF allowed it to happen, right. And as a result, you had the massacre of some 2,000 to 3,000
Comrade, your
Palestinian
time is up.
civilians.
So if you would like to finish off.
Right, and then just relating to that, you also had the Qibya massacre of 1953, which Ariel Sharon, sorry, not Shimon Peres. Ariel Sharon was personally responsible for. He was the leading commander, and he went into this Palestinian village, right, of Qibya, because they suspected terrorists were there, and they just massacred all the Palestinian civilians were there. Not only was he not, punished for it, he was awarded for it. And of course, this man later became he became the defense minister, and then he became the prime minister. And you had at least two other terrorists, right? Which the Israeli electorate and in turn the state of Israel allowed to become prime ministers. Menachem Begin in the late 70s, and Yitzhak Shamir in the early 90s, right? Both were leaders of literal terrorist organizations,
Oh,
Zionist
his
terrorist community.
time's up. That's enough.
Comrade, you do need to finish off.
You
So we
just got
can.
like a
Okay, no
minute
problem. Add
extra
extra time.
time.
Stop crying, bro.
I'm not
Okay,
crying. I'm just saying you just spoke a
it's
minute
You're
extra.
whining, bro. Just. Okay,
okay.
go on.
It's fine. It's fine. David, your
All right.
cross exam. Are you ready?
Yeah, I'm ready.
Okay, your cross
All right.
examination. 5 minutes starts now.
All right. Is everybody here ready to have their minds blown? Check this. You're gonna really be shocked at this statement, but it's the truth. The IDF and the state of Israel constitutes the most humanitarian. Yeah,
Yo,
can you
did
hear
he
me?
cut out?
All right. Yeah. No, I
we
cut out.
can hear you.
I got a call. I got a call. Yeah, people don't call me. People call me and it messes it up. The IDF and the state of Israel constitute the most humanitarian army and government on earth. Check this out. Check this out. There's more food, aid trucks, and humanitarian aid facilitated by the state of Israel into Gaza than before the war. Think about that. We've never had this before, where a civilized nation is giving food and humanitarian aid to enemy combatant territories. The United States did not do this. The United Kingdom did not do this. France did not do this. Obviously, China, Russia, and the rest don't do this. Israel sustained and maintained 300 to 500 trucks of food and humanitarian aid into Gaza every single day. This is more than before October 7th. This is why Gazans are actually getting fatter. In fact, the average Gazan is fatter and more obese than the average Israeli. And there's instances showing that, contrary to the false claims of famine, the Gazan activists are getting more and more chubby, fatter, and obese because Israel keeps feeding them, right? So no other military on earth would do this. Most militaries on earth would just crush the whole area. That's a fact. I did showcase my proof. I put it in the chat and I put give UN sources, right? Most countries on earth would flatten the whole area, just like Russia did in Grozny. That's number one. Number two, the civilized nations would still brutalize. It would end in a brutal destruction of that area, like the United States did in Iraq and Afghanistan, and the British and the French, etc., etc. No country has matched the amount of care, intricacy, humanitarian consideration, aid, support, development, and fostering of the civilians that Israel has. No country on earth. In fact, Someone can put this in the chat. According to United Nations, 90% of all casualties in all wars in the modern era 2 years ago are civilians. Right? But the figures for the Gazan war, even if we go with their figures, is 1-to-1 or 2-to-1. Right? Instead of 9-to-1. So for every civilian, one enemy combatant. And this is in light of what? The most difficult circumstances. One of the most heavily populated, densely populated places on earth, with a terrorist death cult army that's entire policy and strategy is to deeply embed and trench itself into the civilian population. And despite of this, Israel has gone to tremendous lengths to minimize civilian casualties, and they've been, in many regards, largely successful. Right? So going back to 1962 isn't going to help this argument. We are where we are right now. The fact of the matter is, you can't show any Muslim or Arab state that's been successful in fully regarding human rights. It just doesn't exist. They're all oppressive. Israel is not oppressive. And again, he's conceded the point that Arabs in Israel do enjoy equal rights. In fact, in some regards, they're even have more liberty, because Jews are forced to be conscripts in the IDF, but Muslims are not. They get an exemption because they're Muslim. So again, I'm just not sure what else there is to talk about. I guess I can give a couple more figures to show this. Let me just do this really
30 seconds
quickly.
left of you.
Yeah, let me just give a couple more figures quickly. I put it in the chat here. It demonstrates that before the war, there was about 80 trucks on average. After the war, 80% more food is entering the war, basically. There's many citations of this. Last point. Let me just make this last point. The severe anti-Semitism and
Time is up.
bias against Israel. Okay, last image. I just want to show the last, because he got an extra minute of talking.
Finish off quickly.
Last image. This is a collection of all General Assembly United Nations condemnations between 2015 and 2020. Israel got more UN resolutions passed against it than all other countries combined. There's 192 nations. This shows the extreme anti-Semitism, extreme anti-Israel bias, and the extreme unjust opposition to the state of Israel, the only Jewish state on earth. So all these institutions that he's presenting, they're biased, unjust, and unfair. And that's why there's divine intervention that guarantees the Jews will defeat the Muslims every single time. Thank you.
Okay. There will now be a free flow back and forth between Comrade and Navid. Everyone still remain muted, because this will remain between Comrade and Navid only. I, as a moderator, may step in if I feel there is over talking going on, and I also may drive a point to each side every now and then. So you two can begin, however you like.
Yeah, so this was brought up in the discussion 2 days ago. What does he want to happen to Hamas? Muneer, what do you want us to do with Hamas? How do you want us to deal with
Well, I mean,
them?
you didn't seem to condemn the terrorism of Israel.
I did.
Can you do that, please?
Anyone committing terrorism, I condemn wholeheartedly,
Okay,
especially
so the
the
women
terrorist,
raped in
Jewish
Safsaf,
terrorist group.
do you condemn that?
If that's true, yeah, absolutely.
What do you mean if that's true? Why do you keep saying if that's true whenever it goes against Israel?
Because
It's
what
just
are you
kind of...
like? You're talking about 1938, or
I
like
gave you a
what am I supposed
source
to say
from
to
an
that?
academic source, which is also provided primary
Yeah,
source
and I don't
citation.
have So and I gave you 150 massacres. Does that mean you have every single massacre memorized?
You didn't provide a citation.
The names are citations. What do you mean?
The names that's not how it works, bro.
Yes, it is how it works. Yes, if I say 9/11, you can Google 9/11 and look into 500 sources of what 9/11 is. Right? I'm naming incidents.
Don't worry, don't. No. So this is, but that's not a problem. Look, when I talk about a proper citation, we need a citation from like some credible source, like an academic book, a journal article, or a report, some source, some credible. It can also be a news media outlet. That's credible news media outlet.
Yeah. I'm not going to
You've
give
not provided that.
150
Now, again,
articles.
as I told you, I'm not denying massacres occurred. I mentioned Hebron, and I explicitly condemned it as an immoral act, right? but you can't seem to do the same when it comes to
Yeah, you're
the Zionist
derailing.
side.
So what do you want to do today? What do you want to do with Hamas right
So
now?
you're not gonna condemn the actions of
I did already. I
both
said
the
any
Zionist Free
acts of
State.
I'm saying any acts of terrorists from Jewish terrorist groups, I condemn wholeheartedly. And I'm happy they're all
Okay.
disbanded. So
So
now
what
we're dealing
happened?
with a
Okay. So
situation
what happened in
that we have
1948?
fully
What happened in 1948? Was it immoral or moral? In terms of the ethnic cleansing, in terms of the systematic rape, in terms of the killing, 10 to 15,000 Palestinian civilians were killed. That's also kind of forgotten because most people say no Palestinians were killed. That's just not
I
true.
believe there were Jewish terrorist groups that helped the newly formed state of Israel and they committed crimes and I condemn that wholeheartedly.
No. It was literally the
From
Israeli
the
army in of itself, the Haganah, which became the IDF.
right. That's not the I mean that's what eventually became the idea. When you have
Correct. And
militia
the
groups, a
IDF,
bunch of yeah.
the IDF, once look,
Uh-huh.
1948 May, the IDF
Yeah,
formed. They just changed unit, or you could say they changed names, right? It was just a name change, and they continued. It was
that's
like they
not
didn't
true.
stop after
That's not true.
1948.
Not
Well, I
true.
gave you
Not true.
okay. I'll give you okay.
Not
Well, I
true.
gave you Galilee. The Galilee massacres. They happened in 1948.
Okay, what is your solution for today?
I've
How do you want to
I
deal
already
with
answered this
Hamas?
question before. I've
Yeah,
already
so
answered
what
this
do you, no,
question
you didn't.
before.
Well, what do you
But
want to
you
do
can
with
now you're
Hamas?
like you're
What
not
do you
again. You're not
what do you
addressing the
want to do?
point.
Look, I did address your points and you just laugh and you giggle and you
So
just
you condemn.
ignore.
Okay.
What do you
So
want to do? What do you want to do with Hamas now?
no. One second. Do you
Just
recognize?
answer.
Do you
Hey, D.
recognize?
Ahmed, we talked about this. If he refuses to ask
Do
questions,
you
you're going to press him
recognize?
on it.
Do you
I
recognize
answered
that
his
the
question.
state of
D.
Israel's
Ahmed,
existence
no,
is contingent on
no,
terrorism?
no,
Yes,
no.
yes. Ask your question to him again.
Yeah, my question is, what does he want to do with Hamas right now?
But this question is a complete red herring. Why is this relevant?
Do you see?
We're
Because
talking about
we're
is
living in the
Israel
now.
justified? No, hold on one second.
Yeah,
The topic is
it
Israel
is
justified. No, is
justified.
Israel
It is
is Hamas
justified.
justified?
Hamas, no, it's not about justification of Hamas. This is
I
the
agree. So
militant
why are you
terrorist
talking
death
about
toll
Hamas?
that needs to be dealt with because we're at war with it right now. And you're maybe saying that Israel isn't justified in its clear actions. So the question is, what should Israel
Who's
do
we?
with Hamas?
Like, are you Israeli? I don't understand.
We members of the free world,
We members of
not
the
the
free. Okay,
terrorist
but Israel's.
savages. Yes, the people that are not siding with the terrorist savages.
But you're siding with the state of Israel, which is
Yeah, and
existence. Its
Israel is
very
a free
existence
state.
is
Do you
contingent on mass
deny?
terrorism,
Do
and
you
it didn't
deny
stop.
the
And I
rights?
gave you an
Do
example.
you,
I gave you an example. Libya,
he
the Libya
doesn't.
massacre,
The
1953.
Ahmed, we saw this 2
I
days
gave
ago.
you
He
another
doesn't answer
example. Srebrenica and
questions.
Shatila.
He
There's
doesn't
literally
answer
dozens of more
questions.
examples I can give you.
He doesn't answer questions, the Ahmed.
No, you're not. You're not. Okay, look, you're not being consistent.
Force him to answer or mute him. What should
You're not
happen
being
to Hamas
consistent. Yeah,
today?
this is
I
exactly.
answered his questions, the Ahmed. I answered his questions. Now he has
That
to
is
answer
fair.
mine.
That is fair. Ask your question once more.
Yeah, what should be done to Hamas today?
Answer the question, comrade.
But can you answer my question first? Because like, this is kind of
I
like
already
you
did.
understand. It's not related to the topic.
He
Yeah.
asked if I condemn terrorism. I said yes.
Okay, but you won't condemn the state of
Oh,
Israel,
now it's your,
which is
now it's your turn. Yeah,
its
Ahmed, he's
very
just
existence is
dodging. He's
contingent
just
on
It's your
that
dodging.
thing.
turn. It's your
It's
turn
con-
to answer this question, comrade. You need to answer it.
Why don't I need to answer this question? It's like it's
Yeah,
irrelevant.
see, he's a coward. Yeah,
How am I a
just
coward?
because you don't see the relevance, you can't comprehend the relevance, doesn't mean it's irrelevant.
Okay. So if I answer this question, will you promise to answer my question?
I've already answered every question you've asked me.
Okay, it's just you're not like you're just condemning
You
Israel in the
will
abstract.
answer.
You're not actually
Wait,
condemning.
okay, facilitate it. Nuha and Ahmed, facilitate one of his questions to me. I've answered every single one. Which question have I not answered?
Do you condemn? Look. Do you condemn the state of Israel based on the
No,
fact
I don't
it is a
condemn the state of
terrorist
Israel.
state? Given its existence in
No,
1948 was contingent on terrorism, and it
no,
continued
no,
terrorism. It
no,
continued. Okay, so
no.
why
I
are you
disagree
asking me?
with the
Okay, one
premise.
sec. So
No,
why are you applying double standards here when it comes to quote unquote
not about
Hamas
double standards.
terrorists? Why are you
All
like
right, so
so against Hamas terrorists if you're happy with
All
Zionist
right,
terrorists?
I
You're
don't
not being
accept
consistent.
I don't accept your depiction of Israel. Okay, so I answered this
Well, I
question.
gave you evidence. I literally gave you
Can you
evidence. Or
answer
you want me
now?
to? I can
I've
source it.
answered this question over 10 times.
Navid did answer your question. It is your turn
He
to
said
answer
I
his.
don't accept. I guess what my depiction of Israel. Like what? That's not answering my question. That's
It
evading
is.
the question, my guy.
Yeah, I said
You have
no. No, you said if do I condemn Israel? I said no. All right, now it's your turn.
So
What do
why
we
should
do
I
with
condemn
Hamas right now?
Hamas then? Doesn't even make sense.
I didn't ask you to condemn Hamas.
So
I
what do you
said,
get?
what do
What
you
are you
want to
asking?
do with them? The question is, what do you
Nothing.
want to do with them?
Nothing. By your logic, nothing. What they're doing is
We're not
completely
using my
justified.
logic. We're not using my logic. We're using your logic. Your answer shouldn't be dependent on me.
Okay, so no, okay, fine. What would I, in
So what do
terms
you
of
want to
what?
do with Hamas?
What exactly you want me to do?
What should we do with Hamas right now?
In terms of what exactly?
Their existence.
They should stay. I mean, they are Palestinian fact. They're a legitimate Palestinian faction. They should remain.
They're not legitimate. They killed rival Palestinian factions, right? They came
Okay.
in through illegitimate means. They shut down all elections. They
Okay.
ran a totalitarian state, right?
I thought you're like internally
Oh,
critiquing me because I don't subscribe to that standard. Like,
don't
I don't
subscribe to
subscribe to that
what?
standard, nor do I subscribe to that narrative. Because based on
So
your
you
again,
believe that?
based on
Wait,
your
wait, wait,
logic,
wait.
that
So
would also render the state of Israel
wait,
illegitimate. I mean, I don't like this is
wait. So if you believe
this is
Hamas
literally
is
my entire
legitimate,
argument against the state of
hold
Israel,
on,
and you're using it against Hamas.
hold on. Wait. So if you believe Hamas is justified, then what's your problem with the state of Israel? If might makes, if according to you might makes right,
I
that's
don't.
what
I
Hamas
don't
is
look.
a
I
great
don't
power.
believe.
But
I.
what
I.
gives Hamas any legitimacy?
No. I don't believe Hamas, right, is justifying committing terrorist acts.
So what?
I
So
condemn
then,
that.
what
But
should we do with them? Yeah. So the question is, what should we do with them?
I don't think Israel should do anything. They have no right to be there in the first place.
What?
Gaza is occupied. I know you don't believe in
What?
international law, but Gaza is occupied since 1967 under
Wait. Do
international
you
law.
believe in international law?
Of course. I know you
Okay,
don't.
the majority of states in the United Nations, 1947, voted for the establishment of the state of Israel. Do you accept international law in that instance?
Majority of states didn't. So this
They
is just
did.
like, okay, well, how many states were there in the United Nations at the time, bro? Most of the world was under colonial rule at the time. Like, how can you say the
Okay,
UN had
so that
legitimacy in that
doesn't
context?
matter. Do you do
Oh, it
you
doesn't
do you
matter. It
deny?
doesn't matter that the British Empire
Oh my
controls,
god!
most of the
Oh my
world.
god!
Well, not
Okay,
most of
so
the world,
you're
but a
saying that
significant part.
they're all biased. So you're saying they're biased, so you don't accept that vote. That's what you're saying.
It's not about bias.
It's
It's the
still
fact
most
most
countries.
nations, look, most nations on earth at the time didn't have sovereignty. They didn't have
Okay,
self-determination.
so you're saying all UN resolutions passed between when? From its formation after World War II until 1970, until most these countries got sovereignty, all those votes are illegitimate, right? So therefore you should reject all the international law during that time. Why are you accepting
That's not what
you're
I'm
picking
saying.
and choosing because you're
That's not what
picking
I'm
and
saying.
choosing international law. You like when the West or other countries condemn Israel, but you don't like it when they
Well,
contributed to the creation of Israel
okay,
even though
that's not
even
even what I'm
though the
saying.
same
First,
standard is international law, even though the same standard is international law, like this is
no, no, no,
Imran,
no, no.
this
One
is
sec.
why
I'm
you're
not.
so
Look,
weak.
one
You
sec.
can't,
I'm not
like
describing the
this is.
principle. I'm not. Look, one sec. When we talk about international, like if we're talking about
All
the
right, let me ask you a
principle,
question. Are
like the Universal
American what?
Declaration of Human Rights, I accept that. But what does that have to
Okay,
do with accepting the UN resolution of 1947?
okay. So
I don't understand. Like, how does it?
Israel was attacked on. Okay, so Israel was attacked on October 7th, and you're saying Israel had no right to respond to Hamas attacking Israel.
Well, I'm not saying it has no right to defend against the terrorist attack in of itself, but it has no right
Okay,
to
so that's
go
what we're doing.
inside Gaza. It has no right to go
Why
inside
not?
Gaza, especially in the
Why
way
not?
that,
Why not?
as I told
Why
you, it's
not? Why
occupied.
not? Why? What do you mean it's occupied?
Sorry, because Gaza is occupied,
Who
and it
gave
is the
Gaza?
and Israel is the
Yeah,
occupied.
who? Wait. Who gave Gaza to the Palestinians in the first place?
When you ask this question, do you think like the
Like, do you
Israelis gave
not,
sovereignty?
bro? This guy, Diana, this guy doesn't answer any questions. It's useless.
Well, I don't.
He
Okay,
doesn't
so
answer
you
any
have to. Well,
questions
one sec.
because the
Why should I
answers.
answer
The
questions in the
reason
way like
because
you want me to?
the reason he doesn't answer these questions because all of these questions refute his entire narrative. That's why he
Which
can't answer
narrative?
these
Which
questions.
narrative? No, which narrative? Which
Your
narrative?
narrative,
Let's go.
the terrorist narrative
Which you've
that you
not been
hold
able to
firmly to.
reject. I told you to condemn the state of Israel. You refuse to do so. And now you're holding me to a standard which you yourself don't hold yourself to. It's just
Okay,
like it doesn't make any
let me ask you a
sense.
question. So
I
Israel
literally
won the
condemned Hamas.
war. Israel won the war in 1948 and
Oh my
1967.
God.
Why should have Israel given any political control to Palestinians in Gaza? Explain that to me. Why should have Israel
But
done that in
you know when you
2005?
say that, you're basically saying the Palestinians had no right to self-determination. Therefore, the
No, they didn't.
Zionists could.
No, they
Okay,
didn't.
good.
They
So then
lost
you're
that right.
justifying the
No, so
murder,
no.
the rape,
Answer my
the
question.
ethnic
Answer
cleansing.
my
Do you
question.
justify these acts?
Answer the question. Why should have Israel given any territory to the Gazans in 2005?
I'm answering a question because under international law, self-determination, right, is according to all peoples, right, irrespective of
So,
ethnic group.
so you believe
And in
all
terms of the
ethnic
ethnic
groups should have a
partition of
country?
Palestine, in terms
Do
of
you
the ethnic
believe the
partition of
independent
Palestine,
state
that
of?
was contrary
Do
to
you believe in the?
international law.
Bro, get the hell out of here with international law. You only
Secondly,
pick and
okay,
choose
well,
when it
I appealed
favors
to
your argument.
morality, but you seem
Do
to
you believe?
reject
Do
this.
you believe? Do you believe in? Yeah, Hamas is an immoral group. Do you believe in the independence of
Wait,
Kurdistan?
why is it
What about
immoral?
Baluchis?
Why is it immoral?
Why is Hamas immoral?
Go on.
Yeah, it's a terrorist death cult. that takes away people's rights, right?
You're justifying that. What are you talking about? They can make the exact
We
same
already went
case.
over this. We already went over this.
The
Arabs in
okay, one
Israel
sec.
have
The Arabs
yes,
attack first.
Arabs
But
in
I told
Israel.
you. One sec. I told you. The
Arabs
intent.
in
The
Israel have
intent.
more
The
rights.
intent.
Listen to
One
me.
sec. The
Listen
intent. No,
to
I'm not gonna
me.
listen to you. I'm
Listen
not
to
gonna listen
me.
to you. I'm not gonna listen to you. You're just gonna
Arabs
yeah.
have
No, no. I'm not gonna
more.
listen to you.
Yeah,
No, no,
Arabs
no,
have.
no,
This
no,
is a
no,
fact.
no.
I'm giving facts. Arabs
You're
have
not giving
more
facts. You're not
rights.
giving a single fact there.
It's right. This
You
is a
cited
fact.
one sec. The only fact
Arabs
you've
have
given here
more
is a
rights.
UN report, right? Which you've literally misread.
Arabs, yeah,
You've
yeah, but
misread
mute
it.
him.
It
He just
says
won't
one
even
sec,
let me
one sec.
talk.
I'll
Mute
read
him.
you the report
He
too.
won't
I
engage in the
literally read it.
conversation. He won't engage in the conversation. Like he won't answer
138.
questions.
Look, look, look.
He won't. Listen,
Look, one sec. It says
This is very
148
simple.
food trucks
He
a day on
refuses. He
average.
refuses. He
How is
refuses
that
to.
more than pre-October the 7th, my
He
guy?
he
What are you
he, he
talking
Comrade,
about?
refuses.
you need to let Navid finish, please. Saying he's about to present
This
some
is
facts.
honestly,
Go
this is
ahead, Navid.
biased
Mute
moderation. Like this
American.
is just like, what are you doing? Let him finish.
No, because
He's
he's
just
for.
scalloping in front of red herrings, bro. It's not relevant.
Yeah, mute American. Mute American, please. American, please mute yourself.
American, can you mute yourself, please?
Just mute him. Just mute him.
American. I
It
missed that
shouldn't be a
American.
conversation. Just mute them.
Hey, Great Dream Hero, could you... Okay, he's muted.
Thank you.
Okay.
Okay,
Listen.
Navid was about
It's
to
very
present some
simple.
facts. Go ahead.
Yeah. Listen. Yeah.
Yeah, no problem. Just ask.
Yeah. Listen. Yeah, man. It's very
So
simple.
it's basically this is an
It's very
interrogation.
simple.
This is
Comrade,
how this
comrade,
is framed.
It's
I have to
very
answer all the
simple.
questions, and then I
He's
can't answer any
he's
questions back.
entitled.
I can't ask any questions
Comrade,
back.
you need to let him
The,
finish.
Okay,
Go
but
ahead, Navid.
the
excuse
funny
me, is this
thing
an
is,
interrogation or is this a discussion?
the funny thing is, D. Ahmed, I've
No, no,
answered
D.
more of
Ahmed, can
his
you answer the
questions.
question, please?
I've
It's a
answered
debate.
more of his
It's a debate.
questions.
Okay, so
I've
why
answered.
is it I
I've
can't ask
answered.
any questions and he has to
Bro,
basically I have
I've
to answer
answered
all the
all your
questions he
You
wants?
questions.
can ask
I
questions. You
answered.
can ask questions.
I answered
But you're not
every
letting me.
question
This is
you've
the issue.
asked me. I've
No,
answered every question you've asked
Navid was
me.
presenting some facts and you interrupted him. After he's
Which
presented his
fact?
facts, he's about to present them.
He's not presented a single fact here in this
He is
discussion.
about to. He is
The
about
fact,
to, and
Not
you
a
the
single
interrupted.
fact,
one.
the
Go
fact of
ahead.
the
Go ahead,
matter
Navid.
is, Arabs in
Are we
Israel
allowed to interrupt?
Arabs in Israel have more rights than Arabs in any other country. That's fact. It's objectively
Got
true.
your fact.
It's
Fuck off.
objectively, bro. Hey, Ahmed, remove
Leave
this
him, leave
thing.
him, leave him.
Okay.
Just leave him.
Remove the
Uh,
baboon.
No, no, you don't need to remove them.
a
Remove the
reminder,
baboon.
a reminder to the VC. Please remain muted. Everyone remain muted. Only the debaters can talk, and the moderator, myself. Go ahead, Navid.
Before continuing, Ahmed, stop interfering with this argument. Let the two guys make it together themselves.
I am the moderator.
Okay, you're the moderator for the others to
Bro,
interject,
mute
not
him.
for
Like,
your.
why is Messiah having any, like, just
Okay.
mute him. Like, there should be no conversation. Just mute
Okay,
him outright.
Navid, can you finish
All
off,
right.
and then Comrade can
Yes.
ask, the
It's very
questions he
simple.
wants to
It's
ask.
very simple.
Go ahead.
Hold on a second. Anybody starts talking in here, but the two people that are debating will get automatically muted
Thank
from
you.
now on.
Thank you very
Thank you
much.
very much, Hannah. I
Thank you.
really
And
appreciate that.
anybody in the chat that breaks our server rules who didn't bother to read them when they came in will just get kicked. End the story.
Thank you so much. It's
I
very
really
fair. All
appreciate
right.
that, Hannah. Okay,
All
go
right.
ahead, Navid.
It's very simple. It's very simple. Space Shark is challenging my position, my claim. Arabs and Muslims have more rights in Israel than they do anywhere in the Middle East because they are allowed to leave their religion or express
Wait,
their
wait, wait. What does
political
this have to do with the
position.
point? I'm
Or
confused.
yeah, the
It's
point
just
is
red
that
herring.
it's not a red herring. It's the solution.
We're
I'm
talking
presenting
about terrorism.
Israel.
Hold on, we're talking
I,
about
yeah,
terrorism
yes,
and the nature of
yes,
the state
yes,
of Israel in relation to
yes,
terrorism
yes.
and
Hamas is a
comparing to
terrorist
Hamas.
state. Yes, because I'm living in the here and now. Hamas is a terrorist state,
Well,
and Israel is a
so
free
is
state.
Israel.
They asked me, no, no.
So why is Israel okay? Why does Israel continue to deny responsibility for the Nakba?
Israel. Well, listen. So
No,
in
no, can you answer my
Rafah,
question?
yeah, hold on. I'm answering you. Hold on. Israel evacuated 800,000 civilians before the full assault on Rafah.
Okay, that is not
That
answering my
is the
question.
opposite.
That's not
It does
answering my
answer your
question.
question because that proves that Israel's not a terrorist state. Let me ask you a question. When
Why does
Hamas
Israel
attacked on
deny its responsibility to Nakba? Your response is
when Hamas
because your response is
when
Israel
Hamas
has
when
quote unquote
Hamas attacked,
evacuated 800,000
yeah,
people from Rafah.
let
What are
me
you even
ask you a
talking
question.
about?
Bro, like half of this guy's comments is just laughter. When Hamas attacked on October 7th,
Look,
did
the
it
Ahmed, if you're not going to
evacuate?
mod, I'm just
Did
going
it
to talk over him. This
did
is as simple
yeah,
as
yeah.
that.
Did Hamas evacuate the civilians out of the kibbutz? and the various areas that it attacked on October 7th, did it evacuate the youth that were at the music festival? Did they evacuate them before attacking? No, they didn't evacuate. Why? Because they're terrorists. Not only did they not evacuate the civilians before striking, they killed the civilians were targeted, and the civilians were taken hostage. In Israel, in Gaza, we see the opposite. Israel evacuated and provided tent, housing, and food to 800,000 residents of Rafah. Got the residents all out, gave them housing, food, and protection, and then bombed the crap out of Hamas. That's how you engage when you're
And you have
not committing acts of
186,000
terrorism.
civilians dead. Yes, bro. That's how you engage. Yes.
Excuse me? What did you just say?
You have 186,000 civilians dead. Nearly 8% of the population of Gaza dead as a result of Israel's
Wait,
terrorist and illegal invasion of Gaza.
Did you just say 186,000?
Yeah, it's from the Lancet report.
So
I've cited the
Hamas
Lancet report.
reported. So a couple months ago, Hamas was
In
reporting
recent
30,000.
conflicts, such indirect deaths range from 3 to
Hamas.
15 times the number of direct deaths, applying a conservative estimate of 4
Oh,
indirect
so it's
deaths
not
per 1 direct death to the
okay.
37,396 deaths reported. It is not implausible to estimate that up to 186,000 or more deaths could be attributable to
So
the
just
current
to be
conflict in
clear,
Gaza.
just to be
Using
clear,
2022 Gaza Strip population estimate
yeah.
of 2.3 million, this will translate
Hamas,
to 7.9% of the
yeah.
total population of the Gaza Strip.
All right. So Hamas
Yep.
officially states about 30 to 40,000
Okay,
dead.
you're not going to address that point?
I am addressing it. You're going over 5 times Hamas's claim.
Correct. Based on the
Hamas is
Lancet,
saying,
based on the Lancet report.
40,000 are dead. We have accurate reporting. We have 40,000 dead. Now, this guy, Muneer, is saying, no, Hamas doesn't know how to count. It's actually close to 200,000.
Well,
Like,
I mean,
what the
there's
hell
like
are you saying,
indirect
man?
deaths. There's indirect deaths, and there's
What?
deaths unaccounted
The
for by the
Gaza,
Hamas
the
ministry,
Gaza
by the
Ministry of
Hamas
Health,
ministry.
the Gaza Ministry of Health counts the deaths that are in its facilities and when they go to the rescue operations. So to say that it's actually not 30,000, it's 200,000 is just ridiculous. Like
Well, I
this
mean,
is
this
just
is
nonsense.
using, but this is like a
Yeah,
report
we're
which
not
is
interested
using
in your
recent studies.
methodology.
I mean, sorry, which is using
Yeah,
recent conflicts to basically make this estimation range
yeah.
in terms
Thank
of
you,
the number
thank
of
you.
deaths
So did
relative to the official count.
did IDF evacuate Rafah before doing the full assault?
No,
It did. That's a fact. We have
no.
images, we have videos, we have reports. We see the people in
Where did they
tents.
evacuate them
Everyone
to?
was taken
Where did they
out
evacuate them to? Go on.
to surrounding areas and tent places or to other
And were
areas
those
that were
areas
already
bombed? Were those areas bombed? Go on.
Okay, so you're not addressing the point. So the answer is yes, Israel did evacuate people, right?
Shut the fuck up.
Where's your
Get the
evidence? Where's your evidence of these cases? Look,
There's
I
countless
cite you the
videos,
Lancet report. I mean,
there's
you're not.
images. Who do you think is facilitating these tent camps and all the humanitarian aid? Like, what are you talking about? You think
Okay,
in the
so
last 9 months? You're thinking in the last 9 months?
He is asking for evidence for those evacuations. Could you provide some sources?
Yeah, sure. Yeah, sure. Hold on.
Hey, will we be allowed questions?
No, you won't.
Bro, ban that guy. Get divorced
why do you want to
before
ban
out
him?
of here. Ban him. He's coming on alt. Just get rid of him.
Because I fucked your wife, right? Like she is.
Why is this even tolerated? Just ban him.
He's banned. He's banned.
Like I shouldn't even have to ask twice.
Excuse me. It takes more than a split second for me to find this person and ban them. Would you calm down, please? Jesus Christ.
Okay,
Yeah, we're literally meeting
Zizo's
minutes, Nick,
making
so just
personal
relax.
attacks to our messengers. Navi, can you handle that? Tell him to ban Zizo.
Yeah, I mean, I already asked Zizo to be banned from the beginning.
No, he put
shouldn't
a
have been
poll.
tolerated.
Yeah, no, he put a poll.
Zizo shouldn't have been tolerated here from the beginning of this.
I will ban Zizo. Give me a sec.
Yeah, we can't sit with people that mock God in the messenger. All right, so I just put the Associated Press article showing satellite imagery that shows that the people of Rafah were very quickly, within 3 days, evacuated from Rafah. It's the most humanitarian military on earth. No one does this.
Wait.
I'm
You're
just
saying
curious.
you made a claim that the Israelis evacuated them. They issued evacuation orders. It's not the same thing as necessarily the Israelis or the ones who facilitated it.
What do you mean the tents were made up by the Israelis? What are you talking about? So okay, so
Well,
now my question is:
can you decide that? Blah, blah, blah.
Did Hamas evacuate all the kibbutz and areas that it attacked on October 7th?
Sorry, one second. Let me, because like this is the issue. You keep asking, like, right? Let me just read through this.
It's not a random question. It's a very relevant question.
He's reading your source, Navid.
Oh, it's not a controversial point I just made.
Wait, where does it say the Israelis set up tents for them? I'm confused. Like,
so who set up the tents?
bro, they already had the tents. They took the look. It says,
oh my god.
in the 3 days between the photos, at least half of the hundreds of tents cramming in the area have disappeared, likely from Palestinians packing up and departing. Yeah, it seems like they already had tents in Rafah, and then they just packed those and moved them. I mean, it seems clear to me. Yeah, what was your question?
Yeah, did Hamas give warnings to the civilian population in the areas that it attacked on October 7th?
I'm not aware of this.
They didn't. So by default,
Okay.
that makes Israel the more humanitarian.
Yes, we're going to ignore everything else. We're going to the history. We're going to go past events. We're just going to focus now and to make our case to say Israel, therefore, is the moron.
Wait. America bombed Japan with nuclear bombs, and yet they're still more humanitarian than Hamas. Right? So,
wait, what?
Worst case scenario. Yes, the worst case scenario. We're granting.
How is America? Okay, what is these comparisons?
Yeah.
Based on what?
Because America feeds the areas in Afghanistan and Iraq. They send humanitarian to
Yes,
the population.
it fed the victims of Nagasaki, yes, and Hiroshima. Yeah.
Did Hamas? Yeah, and it also made Japan within 5 to 10 years the second most advanced nation on earth. No one does that.
Yes. We
No
kill
one
like
does that.
100 to 200,000 people. Yeah. Now we develop you. So okay, yeah. Okay, bro.
All right. So hey, Ahmed, can we just move to Q&A session now? Because this is not moving forward.
Yeah, it's not moving forward at all because you don't seem to be
Let's go. But
addressing anything I'm saying.
I do want to ask, Comrade, was his source satisfactory to demonstrate that Israel evacuated or did some evacuations?
No, I mean the source is credible. It's just the source doesn't say what he's saying.
What is that? Why do you keep laughing? This is not funny.
Because look, you didn't read the
laugh?
source. I know, and the source directly contradicts you. I find it funny.
So it's not funny at all.
Well, it's not funny to you, but I mean, it's funny to me. Anyway, continue.
Okay, let's go Q&A session.
Q&A. I mean,
Comrade, or no?
I don't think we're done. Like, there's a lot of points, man. There's a lot of points which are not being addressed.
Yeah, and I don't have all day. I agreed to an hour debates. I'm ready for Q&A. You're not making any points. It's like
yeah, I didn't make
what
a
else is
single
there
point
to talk about?
in this discussion.
Your points are weak.
Yep.
So the debater is running out of time, and he has requested to move on and have a Q&A.
Yeah.
People would like to ask some questions.
Maybe Islam Enjoyer, maybe. Yeah, on Hannibal Directive. This is a good point.
I think I'm a wolf unmuted, so do you have a question for either debater?
Navid, do you think Jews are the chosen people?
I believe God tells us in the Quran that He blessed them more than any other nation. In chapter 5, verse 21, God tells us that land is decreed by God for the Jews. And if they commit any violations, they lose authority over the land for 4 years. My understanding is 40 years have passed, and it is their land. But since they allow others to live there as well, including the 2.4 million Muslims under Israeli citizenship, this is a good thing. So yes, that is their land. We should respect what they're entitled.
But what about the Rebbe and like one of the biggest like Mason lounge and like all their like
I don't believe in the Islamic depiction of riba. Riba is not all interest; it's high interest or usury. And actually, there's many translations to translate the verses in the Quran about riba as usury,
Let's not
which
get
is high
religious.
interest.
We need to
That's
remain
it.
on topic.
I just want to make that quick point. That's it.
Can the mods unmute Sajad because he has a question? Great Dream Hero, if you're here, or if Hannah's here.
Thing is,
There we
like
go.
Allah only talked about Bani Israel, like Jews are and just a
Who do you
sectarian
want me to
cult.
unmute?
Yes,
And
Sajjad.
us is
Sajjad.
I'm with your time.
62
Mute
verse
Honorable.
6.
I already got him.
I can't
I'm
hear you.
with your time. Your time was up. It's now Sajad's turn to ask a question. Go ahead, Sajad.
Yeah, I had a question for Comrade, since he was saying that Israel has no right to go into Gaza fighting Hamas. Is that correct? Just so I know what I'm asking.
Yeah, I do not believe it has a right.
Yeah. So would you also say that the Americans and the USSR had no right to go into Nazi Germany to fight the Nazis?
No, I don't see the connection.
Do they have the right or no?
I think they did. Yeah,
Okay, that's it. Thank you.
you're welcome.
Okay. Does anyone else have any questions?
There's questions in text.
People can unmute and ask their questions if they like.
I have a question, not a question, but like a point. May I?
Since no one else has spoken up, go ahead.
Perfect. It's regarding like the death toll. Navid earlier claimed that the death toll is quite low, lower than the previous wars. The one in comparison there was. This is simply not true. And my source is Oxfam. Unfortunately, I cannot post pictures. This is new account. It says that since the start of the war, from October 7th till now, 250 Palestinians die per day. Compare this with Ukraine, and I think it's roughly around the 40s. I don't remember the exact number, but the same site. How can you claim, they have a low death count? Meanwhile, they have a significantly 5 times higher than the one by Ukraine and Russia, despite uh, this. That's my point, I guess.
So, Naveed, do you have a response for that?
Yes, I do. Gaza is one of the most densely populated places on Earth. So comparing to sparsely large terrain in Ukraine is just irrelevant. It's ridiculous.
So your claim
Yeah.
earlier was incorrect. Would you rectify it?
What? What claim?
So it was
Impossible.
incorrect. It was 5 times more incorrect. Just to point that out.
I can't understand him. Dion, can you translate
Hisham,
what he's saying? I don't understand what he's saying.
your voice is cutting out, Hisham.
He's asking, so was your
It's
initial claim incorrect? Do you rectify it?
what initial claim?
About the death toll being low and 1-to-1.
Yeah, then what you claim 200,000? Yeah, absolutely. It's low.
It seemed like you just now justified it based on density.
So I would say that the actual death toll is probably 10 to 15,000 lower than Hamas Ministry of Health. That's my position. I think there are some UN reports that demonstrated this.
Comrade posted a source which says that the estimate, direct and indirect deaths since October 7th is close to 200,000 people in the beat.
And Hisham
I know,
also
and
posted Oxfam.
that's over 6 or 7 times even Hamas's death toll. So we happen to find someone that's more Hamas than Hamas.
Yeah,
Wow.
Hisham posted a
Wow.
link. Yeah, wow, indeed.
Yeah. Wow. Literally, wow.
Okay. Does anyone else have any questions that they would like to ask either debater?
Emily has a question.
Emily, if you would like
She's
to
in
unmute
VC chat
and ask your question.
That's Zizo, ban him. Get him out of here.
Emily, type your questions and I'll say
Get my Emily out.
Is it
That's
Zizo?
Zizo. Ban him. Yes, it
How do you
is.
know
Yes,
Zizo?
it is. Yes, it is. Because it's the username
How do you know?
GRPHS dot. That's Zizo. Just ban him and get him out of here. We shouldn't be wasting time.
How do you know that that's Zizo though? I'll take your
Because
word
I've
for it.
banned him like 15 times.
It don't even say Zizo is his username. It says GRPHS.
Okay, he
Bro,
is.
just ban him. Who's making noise? Ban them. Okay, thank you. So the state of Israel has facilitated the fastest development and growth of Palestinians than any other era in human history. They're fatter than they ever were in all of history, more
Bro,
nourishment.
address his claim and stop deflecting.
Hold on. Hey, mute him. Mute that robot guy. So the average Palestinian is fatter than the average Israeli. Yes. Yeah, no, since 1947 and 1948, the opposite of ethnic cleansing has happened. They've had 1,000% growth rate. Yeah, 1,000% growth rate, right? The best and fastest growing place for Palestinians is in and around the state of Israel, right? So if Israel wanted to ethnically cleanse it, it would not allow 25% of its population to be Arab. Do you acknowledge the 2.4 Arabs living inside of the Israel? Yeah, the question is, why weren't all Arabs removed?
Let him
Why
finish. Let him
why
finish the
weren't
question.
all Arabs removed?
Navid, let him finish the question. Go ahead, Aziz.
Yeah, I've already condemned.
Navid, let him finish. Can you wrap up your question, Aziz, so we can answer? Okay, whether you feel he answers
Yeah,
you or not, Aziz, we're going to the next person.
yeah,
Go ahead, Navid.
all Jewish terrorist groups were disbanded after the creation of the state of Israel. I condemn all acts of terrorism from any side. The fact of the matter is, the only terrorists left today are from the Arabs, the Hamas, Hezbollah, and they're like Lions Den and these guys. Israel's not currently a terrorist state. In fact, again, the only place where the Palestinians are thriving is inside of the state of Israel. So if Israel wanted to ethnically cleanse them, they would just remove or kick out all the Arabs, but they didn't.
They
Right?
sought
They're
to.
doing
I
great
mean,
there, but they
they
didn't.
sought
What do
to.
you mean they sought to? They could just remove them. How
Well,
difficult
they
was it
removed
in
most of them to the point. Look,
no,
they removed most
in
of them.
1947,
Okay.
they could just remove
Do I have
all
an
Arabs.
opportunity?
Why didn't they? Why didn't
No,
they?
no, no, no. One
Why
sec.
didn't they just,
So
why
I'll
didn't
give
they
you a
just
reason.
remove
Yeah,
all
I'll
Arabs?
explain. I'll explain. Look,
Go ahead.
one of the reasons why they didn't is because they removed a sufficient amount to where now the Palestinian population didn't threaten the Zionists in the context where an Israeli state would form and a quote unquote democracy would exist. They wouldn't threaten them in terms of demographically.
That's not
Secondly,
true.
the other
That's not true
aspect.
because no, let's stop on this point.
How,
That's
how is
not
it not
true
true?
because
Can I finish? Like,
Palestinians are
can I
on
finish?
track to become a plurality or a
Let him
majority.
finish. Let him finish, Navid.
All right,
Go
go
ahead.
ahead.
Secondly, right, the other aspect was it was easier, it would be easier to control the Palestinian population in terms of allowing some of these Palestinians to remain inside quote unquote Israel, right? in terms of, now we have them directly under control, as opposed to on the outside in the West, back in Gaza, where they would pose an external threat, where it's harder for the Israelis to keep them directly under control. The other aspect is the Zionists did seek to basically finish off these Arabs, so to speak, in terms of kicking them out. Moshe Dayan, right, who was he was defense minister, he was chief of general staff, right. In 1950, in June 1950, he basically said, "I hope that perhaps in the coming years there will be another opportunity to transfer these 170,000 Israeli Arabs out of the land of Israel." He declared at a meeting of the ruling Mapai party, or on 18th June 1950. Dayan also submitted, also submitted a detailed proposal for the evacuation of Arab inhabitants of the town of Majdo, and the army chief of the staff agreed, and Prime Minister Ben Gurion also agreed. I'll post you the excerpt. So they were seeking to do, and look, we even have this today, where Zionists, extreme, yes, right-wing Zionists, they threaten the Palestinians inside Israel with a quote-unquote second Nakba. We see it now post-October 7th, but even pre-October the 7th. In 2008, in the Annapolis talks, you had the Israeli foreign minister, I forget the name off the top of my head, but I can bring you the source, right? She basically threatened, she wanted to remove some, quote-unquote, some Palestinians inside Israel into what would become a future, quote-unquote, Palestinian state. And this was leaked in the Palestine papers in 2011 to The Guardian, Al Jazeera.
Wait, what's the point of this point discussion? Sorry.
So Navid, you can respond if you have a response.
I also have a question for Comrade.
Just before you ask a question, Socrates was next. So Navid has
Yeah.
unmuted.
Wait,
Go
I
ahead.
just want to first say that I despise communism, and it's a disgusting, sick, twisted ideology that's killed more people. It's killed more people than any other
Yo, I'm
ideology
not a
in the
communist.
history of
I'm
the
not a
world.
communist. Just
Why you voluntarily choose the communist label, comrade?
comrade is not like
You like
specific.
you're
It's not unique to
trolling because
communists.
you think people
Wait, why are you
you
personally
want people
attacking
to
me? Okay,
assume
you're a
the
shice. Okay, no, you want to do personal attacks? Fine, no problem.
what?
No problem.
I
we can
didn't
let
name
When
Socrates
you're a
myself.
shy
respond.
scumbag,
What
I
personal
you're a
attack did
shy
he do?
scumbag that supports the
wait,
former Iranian
wait,
monarchy,
wait, wait,
right?
wait, wait,
Who's
Diamond.
a
I didn't
brutal
call him a
dictator
No
scumbag.
which
personal.
oppressed
No
I
minorities
personal.
didn't,
like
I
Kurds and
did not,
Baluchis,
Look,
which your
I
party
did
so much
not,
comrades,
care about,
I
comrades.
did
There will be
not
no
No, don't
call
personal
him a
comrade.
attacks.
What? He
scumbag.
started it. What are you talking?
I said his name is communist,
Okay,
and
and
then
then
I
you
started
started
attacking
attacking me. Yeah, what
communism.
is this? Okay,
What
No, no,
did he
I
say?
never
what is
What
the
called
did he
you a
relevance
say
of this
exactly,
scumbag.
point?
comrade?
What is the
What
relevance?
what? Okay, from now on, no, there will be no personal attacks to either side. Go ahead. Finish
Bro,
off what you're saying.
I
You gotta be
didn't do
careful, bro.
any
You gotta be
personal.
That's
careful. I'll
fine.
just
I
say
That's
that.
didn't
fine.
do
You gotta be
any
careful.
personal attacks.
That's
I
fine.
didn't do
That's
any
fine.
personal attacks.
You don't
That's
want to get
fine.
into a
I
boxing match.
said,
Continue what you're saying.
he's the communist. He comes from the communist point of view, and I despise
And you're a
communism.
shy. You're
Communism,
a shy scumbag.
prove it, prove it, prove it,
You are
prove it,
okay. Have you okay?
prove
So
it.
in your terms of your social media tweets, have you not endorsed the Shah
No,
via likes and retweets? So you've not?
We prove he's a
I.
communist first. First,
Okay.
you made the claim.
His name is Comrade.
Yeah, that doesn't
Shah of
prove
Iran
like
and
he's a
Savak.
communist.
Look, you
Whoever is
reposted
speaking,
this. Now
please
why are you
speak
reposting
between
this?
Navid and comrade.
The Shah
Yeah,
of
I
Iran,
don't believe.
1976.
Yeah,
Palestinians must know that there is only a limit to where they can go and bully the world by
that's
terrorist
right.
attack
Just
mayhem.
because I agree, yeah, and I've also supported Marxists against the terrorist regime. So what?
Really?
Just because I read,
Wait. Do
yes,
you
just
condemn the
because.
Shah? Do you condemn the Shah of Iran and his rule categorically and unequivocally?
No,
Okay, well then you are a Shah.
no,
Why
I'm
would you
not.
not?
No, I don't condemn Trump. Does that mean I fully agree with every policy? What are you
Okay, so
talking about?
what about Hitler?
Like, yeah, I condemn Hitler
Okay.
because I look at the world, unlike
Okay,
you. I
this
look at
is
the world through the lens of net positive and net negative. The Shah was a net positive for the world. Israel's a net
wait.
positive for the
To
world.
who? To who?
Hitler
To
was a
who?
net negative
To who? To
for the
people like
whole
you.
world.
To people look. To people like
For
you.
the
In terms of
whole
your
world.
family members who
No,
fled in the 80s, bro,
no,
who
no, no. The
benefited from the
whole
Shah's rule.
no. That's
Yes, who
false.
materially benefited from the Shah's rule. Yes, it's
That's
right.
not true.
So
You don't
say
know
no.
my family. No, now he's doing personal attacks. Yeah, man, get this guy. Like,
Wait.
honestly,
You initiated it, my guy.
I didn't.
Yeah.
I said you're
You punched me.
communist, and I
I gave
condemn.
a counter punch
I
back.
just said,
Don't cry, bro.
no, 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 no. You self-identify as communist.
I
You
think
went
a
for
lot of this
that's
should
a
be
personal
less
attack. You went for. I'm not a communist,
Okay.
but
What
you
do you
went for the
mean?
personal
What's the
attack,
personal
regardless.
attack? Okay,
Should we
are
let
you
Saki ask
communist
his
or not?
question?
There will be. This is one last warning. There will be no personal attacks from either debater.
Let
Okay.
Sajid ask
If
his
there, if
question.
there,
This is
if there is, if
by
there
the way,
is,
this is
hold on,
typical.
hold
This is what
on,
the
hold on,
Zionists
hold
did
on.
too. This is exactly what the
If there
Zionists
is,
did.
if there is another one, you will be met with a mute. Okay. It
Hey,
was,
I'm
just real
sorry.
it's
I'm sorry.
Comrade,
Socrates.
how do
I
you
It's
feel?
apologize.
How do
Socrates.
you feel?
Hold on,
How do you?
David, hold on.
All right,
It's
go ahead, go
Socrates
ahead.
to ask. It's Socrates to ask. It's Socrates' time to ask a question. Go
I'm
ahead,
not done.
Socrates.
Yeah, I have just 3 yes or no questions, followed by a question that's not a yes or no question. If you want to commit genocide on a people, do you send warnings to them before your strikes?
No, the answer is no. You don't do that.
Can do. I mean,
You don't. You do not facilitate their growth, development, and prosperity. No, you don't do that.
Okay.
Mm-mm.
Does Israel give warnings before their strikes?
Yes,
sometimes.
yes,
Does
they do.
Hamas give warnings before their strikes?
No, never. They never
I
do.
mean, if
They
you're talking
never do.
October the 7th, I'm not aware
They
they did.
never. No, they never do. For any of their attacks, they never give warnings.
And the last question, what do you think the death toll would be if it was not for the Iron Dome being so effective at stopping rocket attacks?
I do not know.
Probably in
I
the
have knowledge of
thousands.
this.
Probably in the thousands
Well, I mean, if
minimum.
each rocket only killed one person, there was over 30,000 rockets since 2005.
Exactly.
So, okay,
Well,
that's
there's
it.
over
Okay,
10,000
yes.
rockets
Therefore,
since
what?
October
Therefore,
7th.
Zionism is moral. Yes. Okay.
It's definitely more
Okay.
moral than
What if that
communism.
was a deceiving? What if that was a deceiving genocide?
Bro, why is he talking out of
I thought
turn?
there was an
Yeah,
order. I mean, I was
it's
next.
Sajid's
Okay.
turn.
So
Bro,
Messiah,
mute
I
this Messiah guy.
wait your
Messiah's
turn.
been
Okay.
speaking multiple times. He's muted now. All right, go ahead, Sajid.
Are you two done answering his questions?
Yes.
Okay, Sajad, do you have a question?
Yeah.
Go
So
ahead.
my question is for Comrade again. What is your practical solution for the current Israel-Palestine conflict? Do you support a two-state solution?
No, I think that's a product of colonialism.
So you would
I
support
support
just a
one state,
one-state solution by just Palestine, correct?
a binational state. Yes, you can call it what you want, but I will call it Palestine.
Wait, I don't understand. So just Palestine? That's it?
Sure. I mean, you could, as I said, you can call it what you want. I'm not hung
So
up on the name.
can it be
I would
called
prefer
Israel?
Palestine. Hmm?
Can it be called Israel if it's just one
It
state
can do,
for
but
Palestinians?
people, again, because there'll be self-determination according to all peoples in the land, irrespective of ethnic group, people will have a right to democratically change the name if they choose to.
Mhm.
Juna.
Yeah. So both Israelis,
Time to go
the
to
Jews
cave.
and Muslims and Arabs do have the right under this Palestinian
You
state
have to
to
go to
choose
the.
what
You
they
ready?
want
Okay, I'll go
it
to
to
your
be,
ready.
correct?
Yes, Christians too, Druze, yes, etc., etc.
Okay. And if that's the
Sure.
case, I'm wondering how can you ensure that there's no genocide against Israelis under this Palestinian
Wow,
rule?
that's so cool.
It's almost it's almost certain that it
That's
would
cool.
happen because Israelis are already murdered if they go into Gaza just simply for being Israelis.
Well, how do you know that?
Because Israelis cannot go into Gaza, right? And they get murdered even in the Israel proper by Palestinians, by Arabs. So
Well, what is the context of that?
if there was no Israel, it would just get only worse.
No, if there was no Israel, you wouldn't have this level of anti-Semitism. A significant, in terms of a significant percent of the anti-Semitism we've seen has been because of Zionism since 1881, and then since the establishment of the State of Israel in 1948. Even in the Arab world, I mean, it's funny, he didn't actually talk about like the Arab Jews. Many of them, again, lived relatively peacefully and cordially with um, their fellow non-Jewish,
Time to go.
Arabs and
This is
Muslims and
Utah.
Christians.
What does it say?
And I can show you examples of this.
Yeah.
Even the historian like Avi Shlaim, for
You
example, he
ready?
also affirms
You
this.
need pants because
There's
it's
Navid,
others
gonna
Navid,
be
too.
trail.
can you
So
go on
wear
mute,
pants.
Navid? Can you go on mute, Navid? Because
Aga, go on
I'm not
mute,
listening.
please.
Go ahead.
Yeah, you have historians like Avi Shlaim, who's a new Israeli historian. He's you could say, quote unquote, liberal Zionist. He supports a two-state solution. He also reminisces about him being living in Iraq. He was a kid when he left, right? But his family there, they spoke of Iraq in relative good terms. And this wasn't just like a single anecdote from a historian. This was a widespread sentiment up until the 50s and 60s.
So you're
Okay.
saying Because of Zionism is because of
Sajad, we have to move on. We have to
A
move on to the
significant
next
portion of
question.
I'm not going to say 100% of anti-Semitism is due to Zionism. That would be disingenuous, but I think most of it is.
Okay, it's now Omaru's turn to ask a question. You can unmute and ask your question.
All right, my first question is to Navid. Navid, why do
Ban him,
you
ban him,
refuse
ban him,
to?
ban him, ban him, ban
Why
him.
ban
Ban
What?
what?
Zizo, ban him.
What's wrong?
Ban Zizo. Get him out of here. Ban Zizo.
Wait, why are you banning this
What
guy?
is
I don't know.
that?
Ban
I just want
Zizo.
to say,
Remove
God
him.
bless America. God bless America and the Holy
Yeah,
Prophet
God bless
Muhammad.
America. Yeah, ban
Susia.
him.
What? What?
Yeah, ban him,
What?
Diahmed.
Wait, why is he being
Ban
banned? I'm
him,
so confused. What
Diahmed.
is this?
Okay,
Mute him. Mute him.
he is gone.
Izo.
He is gone.
You've already
Okay.
removed him on 5 accounts.
Wait, why is he being banned? I'm
Just
confused.
during this
Because he
interaction.
mocked Navid's religious background. Okay, would
Okay,
anyone else like to
Son of
ask
Shields.
a question? Ibn Khaled, do you want to ask a question? Oh no.
Nah, I'm good.
Sorry, wait. Just to clarify, why was the gentleman banned? Because he mocked somebody's religious background.
He mocked
That is
me.
correct.
No, we've banned him on 200 accounts. He does personal attacks.
Why?
He mocks our religion. What do you mean why? Because he's a sick, twisted, demented soul. What do you mean
Okay,
why?
no. But who says we can't mock your religion?
I do.
I mean,
I do because
This is the conditions.
this is my
This is the
VC
condition of the
and
debate.
the debate that I set it up. So yeah, I don't allow attacks to personal
so wait,
religious
you can
backgrounds.
criticize. We can criticize any religion other than your own.
It was not a religion. He mocked
No,
our
it's
message.
not criticism. It's not
It wasn't
criticism.
a
It's
criticism.
mocking.
It was a mockery. Yes. Okay, that's done. Does anyone else have a question?
I have a question, brother, if I could speak.
Sure, go ahead.
So this is directed at the I'm sorry, I don't know the other debater's name. Do you think
Comrade
it's more
Muneer.
important, yeah, Comrade, do you think it's more important to focus on what happened in the past with Israel and Palestine, or do you think it's more important to um pay attention to what happened on October 7th? I just want to get your opinion on that.
I don't see a dichotomy between the two. I think if you look, this conflict is about the past. You can't escape this conflict without looking into the past. And it's not just about, look, forget 19, like we could go to 1881, 1929, or 1917, sorry, Balfour Declaration, 1948, 1967, blah, 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 right? But the point is, all these events, right, these aren't just events that happen in the past. These are events that happen in the past and still obviously affect the future. Still affect the present and essentially shape the outcome of the conflict and the way it's going right now, right? And if you don't deal with the past in terms of the historic, the fundamental historical issues like rights and responsibilities, and I gave you one example: Israel not um, basically account like taking in its role and responsibility during the Nakba. Well, you have a fundamental problem because now when you go and deal with Palestinians in peace talks, that's going to be a fundamental issue in terms of the right of return of refugees, which was caused by that refugee crisis was caused by the Nakba. So it's not even necessarily like a case of what exact land we get. The Palestinian side, talking in terms of the PLO, they were willing to accept, land concessions in 2000, 2001, 2008 was the closest, they say the closest the Israelis and Palestinians got to a two-state solution deal. But it was on the fundamental issues which um, came about, obviously, through history, that the deal didn't go through, so to speak. Although there's more to it than that in terms of Ehud Olmert and stuff, these charges. But yeah, I don't see a dichotomy between the two, between the past and present. I just don't understand people focusing solely or primarily on October the 7th and the events since then, ignoring everything else behind, prior to that, as if none of that now counts. This is, I don't know. It's day zero, so to speak. This doesn't make any sense to me on any level. Also, Athena, just want to say that actually we do have, first and foremost, right? The way it works, right, is refugee status does get passed down generationally, right? Number one. Number two, even if you want to like say second and third generation refugees, they don't count. I disagree, but no problem. we still have first generation Nakba survivors today who still, many of them still have the keys to their homes and they still want to go back. And obviously, Israel doesn't, it doesn't even acknowledge it did wrong to them, let alone recognize them as refugees.
Okay, are you done answering the question, comrade?
Yes.
Okay, can cardboard
Yo.
go ahead.
So this is a question for both sides, right? And this is just how internationally and as people, should we hold Hamas as a group to the same standards that we would hold the Israeli government, the Israeli police, and the Israeli army to, as them being an internationally recognized government?
I guess if Navid's not answer, under international law, no. But obviously, it doesn't mean therefore Hamas can go and kill innocent civilians.
Oh
So
no, yeah, of course. I'm not saying they obviously hold them to some standards, but should
yeah,
we hold
they
them to
hold
the
to some
same?
standard. Yes, I don't think it's the same. No, the occupier has more responsibility under international law.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Comrade, when you look at
Navid,
the
are you there?
Hannibal Directive by Israel, what
Just a second.
connections can you
Where
make?
is it?
Ban him. Get rid of Majid. Ban him.
The
Get him out
Hannibal
of here.
Directive. That's a good question.
Get him out.
what is the username? I can't.
Well, he's asking a
Like
legitimate
what? Like
question.
who?
He's asking a legitimate question there.
Yeah, bro.
Bro, get it.
It's yeah.
Islam enjoyer. Ban him. Get him out.
Okay.
Wait, I'm so confused.
Like
What is
why
it?
are we?
Salamat.
Yeah, man.
All right. Let me make my closing statement. I gotta go now. Yeah. All right. Mute this guy Asil. Mute this guy Asil. He's running his
Navid,
mouth.
عندها
Thank
اللي
you.
هو مشكلة يعني في دماغه.
All right. First of all, praise be to God. Thank you for God for this opportunity to slay the falsehood and establish the truth. Second of all, you're all invited to the submission server. The link is in my bio. Come in for rigorous debates and discussions on religion, politics, whatever. That's number 1 and 2. Number 3, regarding this topic of the state of Israel, there's only one way forward, and that's the establishment and the continued presence of the state of Israel, which is divinely supported. They will succeed. Just breaking news: the second in command of Hamas was annihilated. It's pretty much done. They're on the ropes. It's just we're at the end of the line. So Hamas has been crushed. Hamas has been crushed. The fanboys of Hamas are going to be very disappointed. Don't put your hopes up on Hamas.
Blah 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 blah.
All right,
What
I'm out of here. I
world
gotta
are you
go
in?
now.
What
I got.
galaxy are you
Hey,
in?
with that said, I will no longer be moderating. So all hell can break
I'm
loose
gone.
now if
I'm
you
gone.
guys
Oh,
do
I'm
say so.
done. I'm out.
It's your room there,
Oh,
Ahmed.
screw you,
I'm
Diablo.
every woman.
All right, Preamble. All right. All right.
Next time
Thank
you
you guys for
set up a
listening.
debate,
All right, we're gonna ban Azel now.
at least